station of Fox Sports.
We are walkoff. We are Ohio.
Just another beautiful day in downtown Cincinnati. We welcome you to Great American Ballpark, the finale of this three-game series between the Rockies and the Reds. Cincinnati looking for a win before the Cardinals come to town tomorrow night. And hi again, everybody. Alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Brian Giesenslaw, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to Reds baseball. Tyler Mahle, very, very good his last time out. He went 5, did not allow a run. He struck out 8.
All comes down to fastball location with him, Tom. He gives up home runs. He's given up home runs in tough situations, but the kid battles, and I think when he's keeping the ball down and moving the fastball from side to side, that's when he's at his best.
His mound opponent, another Tyler, the same matchup we saw in Colorado a week and a half ago, Tyler Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson threw the ball well against the Reds. 3 runs, 6 innings, but he's given up 21 runs in his last 27 innings over 5 starts. The Reds can get to this guy. They've just got to make it happen early.
All right, when we come back, we'll have the starting lineups, the play-by-play. Reds and the Rockies wrapping up this 3-game set. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
For today, early game, 12:35. We're going to make it happen against the Rockies. No sweeps. First pitch at a mostly sunny 78. 7th inning at 83. It's warmer. Humidity not an issue early, but will be here for tonight. Your hotter high, 86 degrees. Good luck.
Young right-hander Tyler Mahle, all of 23 years young, making his way to the Great American Ballpark mound. His 13th start overall, 4 up, 6 down the record. An ERA at 4.38 on the year. Here's a Colorado Rockies lineup he'll be facing today. LeMahieu at second with Charlie Blackmon in center and Arenado down at third. Carlos Gonzalez again in right. Trevor Story at short. And Mike Tauchman gets a start, his first of a series in left. Same thing for McMahon at first in place of Ian Desmond. Tony Walters, what a thorn in the side he has been to Reds pitching this season. He will bat 8th, and batting 9th is the left-hander Tyler Anderson. What has impressed you, Cowboy, about young Tyler Mahle?
I think probably confidence more than anything else, Tom. I like the way that he takes the ball. I like his aggressiveness. Even when things are not going his way, it doesn't seem as though he gives up. You mentioned 23 years old. I mean, that's young being in the big leagues, especially coming straight from AA with only a limited amount of AAA starts. I think he will gather more confidence as he gets more repetitions on the mound, and I think the more repetitions that he has on the mound, the more consistent he'll be with both his fastball and breaking ball. I think the kid understands how to pitch. It's just a matter of time, and it takes a little time up here.
All right, so here we go. DJ LeMahieu playing in his 38th game of the year. Had a couple of stints on the disabled list so far this season. He looks at a fastball strike, and we're underway. Trip Gibson calls the balls and strikes. Chad Whitson is at first. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, works at second base, and Adrian Johnson, the umpire today, at third.
You see the velocity right out of the gate for Mahle. 89, 90. Don't let that fool you. He can get the ball up to the mid-90s if he has to. I think the key for Mahle is just trying to get himself established, comfortable on the mound early in the ball game. We've seen him go from 89 to 96 in the first inning when he's had to do that. That's a nice gear to have.
Yes, it is. 1-2 the count, and a weak roller to the left side. Blandino gets a start. He better get rid of the ball. It took him forever to find the handle on a routine ground ball to short. And that'll be an error on Alex Blandino right from the get-go. Blandino is making his 4th start of the year at shortstop.
It almost looked like Blandino had the grip on the ball. He was waiting for Votto to get to first, and then the ball just sailed on him.
Well, he double pumped.
Because when you go back and look at when we showed the replay, he's got the ball in his glove. I mean, he's got the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
It's firm. He's set and ready to throw, but there's no first baseman. When you see Blandino, now watch the shot. There's no first baseman in the picture once he gets the ball. Now he's got to throw it, and he lets it sail.
Charlie Blackmon now the batter. Fastball runs in on his hands and fouled out of play, and Malley gets ahead at no balls and 2 strikes. The Reds were only charged with 1 error last night. No errors the night before that, but I think everybody who watches baseball on a pretty regular basis knows that that might be slightly to the generous side of scoring. Billy Hamilton committing that lone error last night when he misplayed that fly ball in right center field. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Blackmon. A .288 batter. He has 12 home runs and 30 batted in, coming off a year where he certainly was in the conversation for the league's most valuable player. He won a batting title a year ago. Of course, Giancarlo Stanton won that, barely edging. Closest vote, in fact, ever in the National League. Reds first baseman Joey Votto.
The Reds did not have issues with the first 2 guys in last night's ball game. They were collective 0 for 10, LeMahieu and Blackmon.
That one's going to fall in front of Schebler. So after the error, the Rockies get a base hit from Blackmon, and they're at first and third with nobody out. The Rockies have scored more first inning runs than any team in Major League Baseball so far this season. 56 of them. And they've scored first inning runs in 7 of their last 9 games. And here's a guy who in fact leads all of Major League Baseball, Nolan Arenado, for most runs batted in the first inning. He has 17 first inning RBIs.
When you have Blackmon and LeMahieu on base all the time, those RBIs can come quickly and often.
Ball 1. It's where Malley has really gotten down to business when runners are in scoring position. Opponents hit 192 against him. This one in the hole at short. They will get it out at second and nearly doubled up Arenado at first. A run scores from third. And the Rockies have a 1-0 lead. Give Arenado his 18th first inning run batted in.
Gets jammed on it. Blandino does a good job getting the ball to Dixon. I thought Dixon did a good job to turn the play. It almost looked like the Reds are going to challenge it. Did you think Arenado was running all the way down the bag?
You know,
it did not appear that he was at all.
That we have seen him now for a couple of series within a week and a half. Either he's injured or he is just that slow, because there have been a number of balls that he's hit like that. There was a double play you may remember turned in Colorado that I still can't believe he was thrown out at first. Let's take a look, see if he was running hard.
I mean, the ball got right in on his hands.
Nope.
I mean, that's just not running. That's frustration more than anything else.
So the first base umpire who made the call, it's Chad Whitson, joined by Brian Gorman, and the call is out. That's a double play.
Arenado evidently knew it, because he was already back in the third base dugout.
And he does not get credit for an RBI on a double play. The other thing he does that little sort of short step every time he approaches the bag, so his left foot always hits the bag. At least in games we've seen him. We don't see him every day. and you wonder if he's nursing some kind of injury, but he didn't appear to be busting it out of the gate. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. He looks at strike one. So 1-0 Rockies, but the bases are empty. An unearned run in this inning against Tyler Mahle. Six home runs, 25 batted in for Gonzalez. He had one hit, scored a run last night after that long home run here in the series opener Tuesday night. A 3-run homer in the 7th inning that traveled 473 feet.
I mean, that was a pretty good double play turn by two guys that don't play up the middle all the time together, between Blandino and Brandon Dixon. Because I didn't think they had a chance for the double play as when the ball came off the bat. And evidently neither did Arenado.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And these are the kind of bats that have really prevented Mahle, along with many of the other Young's pitchers in this Reds rotation, from pitching really beyond 5 innings in every start. I mean, you look at his last game, 5 innings, 5 hits, did not allow a run, but he threw 102 pitches. And case in point right there with Gonzalez, you're ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. You miss 1 and 2, you miss 2 and 2, and then you miss 3 and 2, and the pitches begin to pile up. Trevor Story, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Story with 11 home runs, 41 runs batted in, strike 2. Story went 0 for 5 in that first game of the series when the Rockies won 9-6. He had 1 hit, also drew a walk, scored a run here last night. You may recall he fell down rounding second base last night and was tagged out after overrunning the bag, and it took him a long time, A, just to get off the ground, B, to walk back into the dugout. You'd have thought he was seriously injured. He not only stayed in the game, but he's back in the lineup today.
Sometimes that's just injured pride.
Deep in the hole, it's short again. Blandino, his throw in time, and a nice job by Brandon Dixon to keep the toe on the bag and field that one-hop throw. Boy,
Two
Dixon,
big outs from that kid.
Absolutely. Very impressive. Dixon getting his first major league start as a second baseman. Take a look at this. Kid's an athlete. Ohio, brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your tri-state Chevy dealer, and by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Beautiful look at downtown Cincinnati. Great town, great town. Reds come to bat trailing 1-0. We take a look at the Reds starting lineup. Schebler leading off in right field. Blandino at short, Votto at first, Suarez, Duvall, Casali in the middle. A ladder third of Dixon, Mahle, and Hamilton. And on the mound for Colorado, left-hander Tyler Anderson.
Well, we talked about the last 5 starts for Anderson, where he's given up 21 runs in his 27 innings pitched. His first 7 starts, he threw the ball awfully well to an ERA of about 3.7, maybe just a little bit higher. What's helped him? The Rockies have scored a boatload of runs when he's been on the mound.
And the other thing about this young man is, much like his team, they've scored a lot of first inning runs. They've given up a lot of first inning runs. His earned run average in the opening inning, the second highest in all the National League. In 12 innings, he's given up 13 runs. In the second inning, he's not allowed a single run. Go figure. 1 strike on Schebler at 268, 8 home runs, 22 batted in, and that one shot into left field, a base hit. Schebler continues to bring the energy, brought to you by IGS. So now you tack on, looking back over his last 6 games. So 1 at bat today, 11 for his last 23 is Schebler. Hoping to earn more and more playing time in that 4-man outfield rotation.
And now a 7-game hitting streak with that swing of the bat to begin this ball game. That is a spot at the top of the order. The Reds have had difficulty finding some consistency.
Alex Blandino at 245, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. You know the story on Blandino. When they brought him up, he was 1 for his first 17, and now has slipped into a lengthy slide after a pretty good run at it, and this will be a double play.
Not a fun first inning for Alex Blandino.
Look at Colorado on defense. Presented by Ford. Blackman flanked by Tauchman and Gonzalez. McMahon, his first start of the series for Ian Desmond, and Tony Walters hanging the signs for Anderson. Joey Votto over his last 11 games, a .435 batter. Multi-hit games in 7 of his last 11, including last night. He had a single, a double, scored a run. But he also had a couple of big chances to get the Reds on the board twice in the 6th and the 8th innings, making the final out, stranding a total of 4. And we brought up last night that Votto is going through the longest stretch of his major league career, his great major league career, perhaps Hall of Fame major league career, since he last knocked in a run. That was when the team was in San Francisco. He's gone 18 games and over 80 plate appearances, both career longs for Joey Votto.
Yeah, I know there was thought given to this a couple of years back about hitting Votto in the number 2 spot, because where the Reds have made their hay offensively has really been with Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez. That's where they've scored their runs. And if you're scoring your runs with those 3 guys, get them as many at bats as you can.
Back up through the middle, LeMahieu, what a play. Gold Glove winning second baseman, flash in the leather indeed. 1 hit, nobody left. End of 1, Colorado in front, 1-0.
Presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Elk and Elk storyline. We told you last night the Rockies have recorded 8 or more hits, allowed 8 or more hits in now 11 consecutive games. Should they do that today, they would match a franchise record of 12 straight, set back in May of 2005. So they've been hitting a lot and giving up a lot of hits, and that's been the story really in the 2 games of this series. The Reds have out hit the Rockies 29-20 through the first 2 games of this series, but the Rockies have outscored them. Tauchman, his first start of the series, just 1 hit in 24 at bats. He was knocking the cover off the ball down in the minor leagues.
He was the PCL player of the month for me.
mean, he put up some silly numbers.
Big
of course,
time.
that's a hitter's league, and it always has been. But, I mean, hey, you get 44 hits and 81 total bases in a month. He hit almost 380.
That's good in Little League.
Yeah. 379 batter in May and 24 runs batted in.
And more times than not, if you're not the guy that makes it out of spring training and you're playing every day, then you've got to figure out somehow to force your way into the lineup off the bench, and that's some kind of difficult.
3-2 the count. Struck him out on a high fastball. First strikeout of the afternoon for Tyler.
That ball was right there. He just swung underneath it. Looked like he was trying to lift it. Just got up under it.
Ryan McMahon looks at a strike. McMahon, another guy who started the season with a major league club. Played in 28 games, got 11 starts, and they sent him on the 1st of May back to the minor leagues, and they brought him up when we were in Denver about a week and a half. Today is his 9th start at first. He's made 4 starts at third and 4 starts at second base.
You know, when you watch Tyler Mahle, Tom, you notice that he pitches up a lot in the strike zone with his fastball. Sometimes you get kids that don't know how to pitch up. Well, he knows how to pitch up, but he's got to figure out when to go down. I mean, pitching up in this day and age, especially with the uppercuts that we see with a lot of hitters, that's a good thing sometimes, but you can't live up there. And I think if he could show more fastballs in the bottom of the strike zone and then elevate, he could have quicker at bats. And I mean, that's really the key to pitching deeper in the ball game. You want to get outs on the first 3 pitches.
In the air, right field. Schebler broke back, now coming in to get it, and that's out number 2. Let's take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Told you lots of changes today. Duvall is back in there, and then look at the infield. You have Blandino starting, Dixon his first start at second base. Casali starts behind the plate, so this rookie middle infield. And an early error already, Blandino allowing the game's only run to score, an unearned run against Tyler Mahle.
Well, Dixon saved him another one on that great play at second base.
Here's Walters. Walters knocked in 2 runs last night. He had 9 RBIs the entire year. He had an RBI double, a run scoring single. Iannetta hit a 2-run home run the first game of this series. That was off Anthony DeSclafani. And Walters in a couple of starts in Denver last week was on base 6 times in the 2 starts.
Maybe he likes red. He didn't hit against anybody else or walk.
We were talking about it last night. These 2 Rockies catchers good behind the plate, but don't do much, if anything, with the bat. And look what they have done. Not only the 8 base hits, but look at the 5 walks. Another 3-2 count. Boy, that's the second time already we have seen where Mahle was ahead of a batter at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ran it to a full count. He's had 3 of those already, and in 2 such cases wound up walking the batter. He did the same to Gonzalez in the first inning. And both have come with 2 outs and nobody on base. Here's Tyler Anderson, the pitcher. 2 hits and 17 trips.
I don't know that you can say it too often, but if you can't have fastball command and consistency at this level, you're not going to be successful. That's where everything starts as a pitcher.
Struck him out on a high fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Mahle. A scoreless second. The Reds will come to bat, trailing Colorado 1-0. By the power stacks in right center today. Alicia Hillner from Amelia, Ohio will win that Tundra, thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Good crowd on a beautiful Thursday afternoon here in downtown Cincinnati. We have just been blessed with incredible weather this entire week. It's the first day it's warmed up a little bit.
It's a little warmer today than what we've seen the last couple of days. It's nice, though. First month and a half was a little chilly everywhere we went.
Was it ever? Holy mackerel. That first road trip
Except
of the
for
year.
Arizona.
Yeah, that first road trip through the year through Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And then on to Milwaukee. Whoa.
I don't know that I'll ever forget you and I walking out of that. Miller Park. We're getting beat down by ice balls trying to get to the cab. Oh my goodness.
Dragging 2 bags that weigh 50 pounds each.
It's just not
good.
Not what I would associate with baseball.
But at least you got out that night.
I did.
I spent the night in a hotel that I'm sure has been condemned by now. There's a jam shot pop up to the first baseman. That'll be the first out here in the Reds' second inning by Suarez.
Did you say that you spent the night in a hotel that has been condemned by now?
It should have been probably condemned by now. Yes. I went along that strip right there in Milwaukee in a cab after sitting at the airport for 6 hours to try to find a hotel. And, you know, a lot of flights were getting canceled or delayed, whatever it was. And so in succession, as we kept going down the road, every single one of them had no rooms left. Well, the further and further you get down the track, the further and further you get down the track.
I hear you.
But you know what? It was a warm place to put your head down at night. So thank God for that. 1-0 on Adam Duvall. Lined hard. It'll fall in a base hit. Second Reds hit, the other by Schebler in the first inning, and Adam a 1-out base runner in the second with the Reds down a run.
Seems like every time Casali has come to the plate, he's hit the ball that looks like it was going out of the ballpark.
Casali looks at a pitch low and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. He has a total of 5 at bats since the Reds brought him on board, and as Cowboy mentioned, he's hit the ball very, very hard. He has a home run and a double.
Big boy now.
Oh, yeah.
He's thick. Good target behind the plate.
And he stings this ball. It'll be another extra base hit. On his way to third is Duvall. Billy Hatcher's going to wave him around. Here comes the throw to the plate. And safe to call the plate. Good slide by Duvall.
Adam Duvall very fortunate that he made it to the plate, because it looked like when he came around third that he hesitated momentarily, thinking that he was not going to be waved home. And I think the Rockies may challenge this one. Ball hit right on the button. You could see Duvall there as he got to third base. He paused momentarily and then he looks up. Billy Hatcher's waving him home. You can't look at the bag and stop. You've got to be watching for the third base coach. The ball's behind you.
All right, so for the second time already in as many innings, the umpiring crew will gather and check back in with the crew working at Command Central in New York City to determine if
I think he's safe.
The call at the plate is correct.
I think he's safe. Duvall went back to touch the plate the second time, but I think he got it initially. Got the back corner of the plate. But what it comes down to is the play should not have had to be that close. You round third aggressively, you make the third base coach stop you. That's what he's here for.
This one taking a little while. Boy, that is close. But is there enough to overturn the call? We still wait.
Well, you could see manager Bud Black asking Tony Wolters, what do you think? Bud Black was raising his hands in the dugout. Wolters was raising his hands at the plate. I don't know. I just caught it and put the glove down.
Here we go. Safe as a call. So it is a 1-1 game on a double by Casali, who already has 3 extra base hits in his first 6 trips to the plate as a Red. Took 1 minute 48 seconds to reach the verdict. But a successful verdict for the Redlegs. And here's Brandon Dixon with Casali at second base in a 1-1 game, 1 out in the second. Dixon 4 hits in his first 13 big league at bats. Strike 1 from Tyler Anderson.
We saw a lot of first pitch breaking balls in game 1 from Kyle Freeland. First pitch hooks, first pitch sliders, then he'd followed it up with fastballs after that. We're seeing a little bit of the same pattern today here with Tyler Anderson.
0-2.
Almost pitching backwards, soft early, hard late. That's when you get guys to chase that pitch up above the hands. They see a couple of slow pitches down, you rush that thing up and in, get a little tardy. Anderson has that little bit of hesitation at the top of his leg kick. He kicks it up and just a little pause, a little extra leg kick at the top right there.
Arenado looks a runner back and throws out Dixon. We saw a little bit of the same kind of thing from the name you mentioned a moment ago, Freeland, in the series opener. Just a slight pause at the top of his delivery.
Watch the kick up. And almost as though he hooks that foot behind his back knee. He doesn't do that, but it appears that's what you're seeing from that view.
Clayton Kershaw-esque.
Yes. And a lot of that is just timing to stay on the back leg.
There's Tyler Mahle, 2 hits and 18 at bats, has a double. So the Reds have tied it up on a single by Duvall and a double by Casale.
Isn't it amazing? You see pitchers come to the plate and their bats look pristine. They're like they just came out of the case or the box that the bats come in. No rosin, no pine tar, just looking good.
As a reliever, would they send you a box of bats?
They would. They're still in the box. They're just at my house. What am I going to do with it? Those are the ones you sign.
Arenado once more will make the play, and that's the inning. But the Reds tie the game 1-1. We go to the third.
All tied up, 1 run apiece, and this not only represents the end of the series between these two teams. After 3 days, 40 rounds, and 41 players, it represents the end of baseball's amateur draft for this season. And as you look at the numbers for the Reds, yes, the 5th overall pick, Jonathan India, players like that, the Reds hope to get those guys big league ready and to the big league level in short order. But as you dig deeper into the later rounds of the draft and the numbers there, you have to keep in mind, as scouting director Chris Buckley pointed out to Bobby Nightingale in the Cincinnati Enquirer, that the Reds are trying to stock a new rookie level team at Greenville, Tennessee. And so some of those selections in the late rounds came with that new affiliate in mind. And then obviously that becomes a longer project down the road, but a different approach, slightly different, with that in mind this season for Chris Buckley, Dick Williams, and the Reds front office.
Well, it's good stuff, Brian. I tell you what, that ballpark they have in Greenville, Tennessee, that was part of the Caravan, which I had the pleasure of being on during this wintertime. That is as nice a minor league ballpark, and we're talking about a low-level minor league ballpark. I'm saying comparing it to anything, AAA, AA, single A, you name it. That is as nice a ballpark as you will ever see.
I think when you come through the Reds system as a minor league player, you are going to play in the finest minor league ballparks that any team has.
You're
all
right.
the way up.
You're right. Pensacola's extraordinary. We know about Dayton. Billings has been there forever. It's good stuff. And now Greenville. And I don't want to shortchange
Daytona or Louisville.
Daytona or Louisville. Louisville.
Great ballparks.
Yep.
But I mean, for some kids, you come out of high school or college and you play at Dayton. You've never seen fans like that.
Oh,
ever.
No doubt. They've sold out every game for almost 20 years in all-time professional sports record.
Unless you played Friday night football. I mean, that's what that crowd is.
It's truly one of the most remarkable franchises in all of North America, the Dayton Dragons. DJ LeMahieu in a 1-1 game. The leadoff man, he reached on the error by Blandino to start the game and wound up scoring the only Colorado run, an unearned run against Mahle in that opening inning. If you're wondering about that sellout streak, and we mentioned it's an all-time record for any sports franchise in all of North America ever. Right now that stands at 1,246 games. It'll be 1247 the next time they tee them up. Fair ball up the left field line on a 2-2 pitch. And LeMahieu cruises in. I mean, this is a guy who's missed over half the season, and he has 10 doubles this year. 10. Suarez and Votto have 11 and 10, and they've played virtually, well, not Suarez, but certainly Joey, they played every day. So Suarez and LeMahieu, despite missing a lot of time, piling up those extra base hits. Guy's a good player.
He's just got a very flat swing, a very downward angle. He's not a guy that tries to lift the ball. More times than not, he's trying to shoot the fastball into right center field. That was a changeup there. And when you're staying back for the fastball, you don't have a tendency to get fooled so badly on an off-speed pitch. He wasn't fooled there.
Check swing by Blackmon. He went around strike one. Blackmon a single into right field his first time up, which sent LeMahieu from first to third, and then a ground ball double play scored the only Colorado run. Threw a fastball up and in right by him at 93.
You're really at a point right now, if you're Tyler Mahle, where you have to induce quick contact, because you're at 51 pitches with nobody out here in the third. If you can't have a quick inning here in this inning and in the fourth, you're not going to make it through the fifth inning. You're going to be at 100 pitches.
And really, more times than not, that has been the pattern that's been set by Mahle, Castillo, Romano. Virtually every start each of the three has made. You go back through Mahle so far this year. We talked about his last start. He didn't allow a single run in 5 innings. Not one. But through 102 pitches. His other 5 inning stints, 109. He's had 5 innings of 94, 4 2/3 of over 100. He had 3 1/3 where he threw 86 pitches. And, you know, his best start, he threw the 86 pitches his first start of the year, that 6 inning shutout against Chicago. Just blew him away there. Third strikeout for Tyler. 1 out.
Well, we talked about Mahle's ability to pitch up in the zone. He gets a couple of strikes early in the count on the inside part of the plate, right on the hands of Blackmon, and then he runs the fastball up and away and gets a swing and miss.
First pitch breaking ball to Nolan Arenado is in there, a strike. He bounced into a double play his first time up.
The double play ball was a fastball that got right in on his hands, and you could see on the second pitch there, Arenado was cheating for a fastball in. Whoa, may not want to cheat that much. They've been looking out over the plate on that one by the reaction by Arenado.
And they come back with that breaking ball down and away from him after standing him up. Not a surprise that Arenado would be on that list. 391 with runners in scoring position. And of course, he's among the league leaders virtually every year in multiple categories. There's strike three called on the outside corner. And that's what you were talking about earlier, humping up and finding a little extra velocity. That fastball at 96.
And a well-placed fastball. I mean, that pitch there is a pitch all day, every day. There is no hitter on earth that wants to swing at that. Whether you have no strikes, 2 strikes, or 3-0, you don't want to swing at it. That's one of those pitches. Excuse me, Tom. That's one of those pitches that, if you can put that in the back of your mindset, okay, this is my safety zone. That's where I'm going when I'm in trouble. If it's 3-0, if it's 2-1, I know I can dot that outside corner with a fastball. Gives you a little bit of relaxation in your head because you don't panic when you have a tough situation or a tough batter coming to the plate.
1-0 the count on Carlos Gonzalez. Malley trying to pitch around a leadoff double by LeMahieu, who still leads out there at second base, but now 2 are out. One of the truly all-time great players in the short history of the Colorado Rockies is Carlos Gonzalez. He's right in there with, guys like Todd Helton and Larry Walker. They had big years in short spurts. Vinny Castilla certainly is a part of that conversation.
Galarraga, Bichette. There were some numbers they threw. They were dumb numbers for a while there.
Ellis Burks was part of that Blake Street Bombers crew. And there's a missile in the center field on a 3-1 pitch that will break the 1-1 tie. But when Gonzalez makes contact with the bat, there are very few players in the game who strike the ball harder than Carlos Gonzalez. Good thing Malley was able to get out of the way.
Ball gets in, but you can see that ball is driven right back up the middle, and that's getting your hands inside the ball and getting the barrel to the ball, even on a pitch that's right in on your hands. That baby was smoked.
So the base hit drives in LeMahieu, and after the Reds tied it in the second inning, Colorado recaptures a lead here in the third. And that ball is driven into left field. It'll be caught by Duvall. Story retired, and that's all for the Rockies, but they break the tie and lead after 2.5 by a run. Here's your #1 Cincinnati Reds app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Download MLB at Bat today. Bright sunshine, beautiful Thursday afternoon in the Queen City. Reds and Rockies wrapping up this series before the St. Louis Cardinals come to town tomorrow night. 7:10 first pitch. Matt Harvey v. Luke Weaver tomorrow. It's a 4:10 start Saturday. That'll be Castillo against Michael Wacha. And then Anthony DeSclafani v. Carlos Martinez. 1:10 start Sunday. Reds have an off day Monday, then back to the road again. Going to Kansas City. Royals have the same record as the Reds going into play today. 2 games there, another off day, and then a 3-game series back inside the National League Central Division next weekend against the Pirates. (9-1-2) in the batting order. Colorado in front 2-1 in the third. Billy Hamilton is first at bat. He's behind in the count at 1 ball 2 strikes. A .199 batter is Hamilton. On base percentage of .237. .287, I beg your pardon. Can't read my own writing. There's a swing and a miss, and Hamilton gone on strikes. Keep up with Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio Instagram. Follow Fox Sports OH on Instagram. You a big Instagram guy, are you, Cowboy?
Insta what?
Huh?
Insta what?
So I guess that means no. I guess my dad and Jim Day are big on Instagram, right?
Yeah, they take a lot of pictures.
I heard some story or another. I don't pay any attention to it, but some story about my dad posting a lot of different, sort of action shots of Jim Day. There's a fly ball to left field, whether it's when they went on a vacation together or out on the golf course.
There's no telling.
I don't know anything about it.
There's no telling.
Of course, Jim will be back over on the television side. Down by the Reds dugout over the weekend. George Grand will be returning. He'll be doing a home series here in Cincinnati for the next 3 days. George was just with the team out in Colorado. Went in for 3 games on that trip. Be good to have him back on the home front. Blandino, first pitch swinging, pops it up into short right, and that was a snappy 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Anderson. 2-1 Colorado at the end of 3.
Hats off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Lottery post-game concert series. Chart-topping country singer Jake Owen will be performing a live concert on the field Saturday, August 11th. Everyone with a ticket to the Reds game will have the chance to enjoy the show from one of country music's hottest acts. You can get your tickets now at Reds.com. And Tom and Cowboy, is this the show you guys are trying to coordinate transportation for, or is that something else?
No, because that one's following a game.
Oh, that's right.
That one's following a game. We were talking about the Luke Bryan show
next
the one. Saturday here at the ballpark when the Reds are in Pittsburgh.
Have you guys made any progress arranging that
Well,
yet?
look, that's not the crowd I run in. And so I was just throwing it out there. That's sort of Cowboy and my dad's crowd, the private jet set crowd. And we were hoping that maybe we could find someone out there who, maybe they're coming over to watch the Reds and the Pirates on their private plane next Saturday in Pittsburgh. Cowboy, we'd be happy to jump in the plane.
Jump on there and come back.
Yeah, but there is a caveat, though.
That's all right. I'll get us back. Hey, I'll stay and watch Jake Owen. A little 8-second ride. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Love those ones here at the ballpark when the Reds are here.
I'm just glad to see us getting some country music into this joint.
Oh, yeah. 2-1 Colorado in front, and a little dribbler down the third base line against a shift. And Tauchman's on his way to second base. He'll go in standing up with a roller up the third base line that goes about 110 feet. That's a double.
That's a swinging bunt. Watch this ball come off the bat. Wow.
Well, I can promise you Tauchman's out there saying, hey, I came into this game 1 for 25. I'm due.
Well, you could see by the swing of Tauchman that he was trying to shoot the ball to the left side. I'm not sure that he was trying to do that.
No. Now Ryan McMahon, as we're at the bottom part of this batting order. Obviously McMahon's trying to drive in the run, but we'll see what should happen if he were to make a quote-unquote productive out and advance the runner with Walters, the number 8 hitter, on deck, then the pitcher.
Well, we've talked about so much about 5 innings for starters, and a lot of it has to do with your proficiency early in the ball game, how deep you're going to get. For Tyler Mahle, first 4 innings, 2.85 ERA. Innings 5+, ERA approaches 9, and that all has to do with the amount of pitches that you have to throw in crucial situations early in the game. I mean, the game is 2-1 right now, but where it comes to haunt you is as you get to this point where Mahle is now. You get to that 75-80 pitch mark. That arm doesn't quite have the same zip as it did when you were throwing 30 pitches. which is where Tyler Anderson sits right now. He's thrown 33 pitches thus far. Mahle is now thrown his 73rd. And it's not that you can't pitch or you can't locate. It's fatigue. It sets in. Your arm starts to feel a little heavy. And guys get you that third time around.
Hard hit ball to right. It will be a productive out after all for McMahon as he advances a runner down to third. Now a decision for the Reds. I mean, you're only in the 4th inning. Of course, you know, first and foremost, you got to try to get this guy out for a change in Tony Walters, which the Reds have been unable to do. He walked his first time up today. But it looks like they've made the decision they're going to pitch to Walters. I mean, he's batting 170.
Well, the problem that you have here is if you don't pitch to Walters, they're going to bunt Walters to second base. And then they're going to have DJ LeMahieu standing up there with runners at second and third. And then you got Blackmon after that, and then so on and so on. You got to get this guy out.
Infield in. And that, they got a piece of him. That hit him on the first pitch. All right, so we're going to see the scenario which you just predicted now.
Try to get a fastball in, and you pull it way in off the plate. And I'm sure that when you're in the scouting report room and you're going over Tony Walters, everybody's saying, look, we can't walk this guy anymore. This is ridiculous. The guy's hitting 150. Let's go. Let's get him out. Guys get to the mound. You put too much pressure on yourself to try to make a quality pitch. You try too hard, and something like that happens.
All right, Tyler Anderson, he has 2 sacrifices this year. Reds are wondering if he is bunting. Suarez was very slow to start creeping down the third base line. Right now he has both feet planted on the infield grass.
I'd love for him to swing and hit it right to Brandon Dixon.
Look at this suicide squeeze. They get one and they can't turn the double play. They start the runner and Anderson puts it on the ground and is able to leg out the relay throw, give him an RBI.
I think the Reds may challenge this as Walters slid into second base. He had his hands high into the air, and Jim Riggleman is going out to have a conversation with second base umpire and crew chief Brian Gorman. And you can see him pop up, hands in the air, popped up right in front of Alex Blandino. It does not appear that Jim Riggleman at this point is satisfied. He's already asking the Reds dugout to look at it. But I mean, there is no doubt that Walters slid into the bag and popped up right in front of Blandino, and I think the Reds are going to challenge this. And they will.
And they will.
I mean, watch the slide from Walters. Slides early. Now watch him come up here. Hands up in the air, up high. Now, in my estimation, that's trying to break up a double play. Yeah, he slid right into the bag. But he also interfered with the throw from Blandino. Their arms connected. That's one of the reasons Walters went down. And it's also the reason that the ball went high. The arm, the throwing arm of Blandino, the hand hit the arm of the sliding Walters.
And what the Reds are hoping will have happen is they'll rule the runner out at first base, and it will be a double play to end this inning.
And no run will score.
I think they're saying the runner's out at second base, but no violation. So the call at first base is safe, and Jim Riggleman's still wondering for some kind of explanation. There's no violation of what is ultimately and what was challenged as a slide rule.
Wow. Well, I guess you can slide straight into the bag and then pop up and interfere with the throw from the shortstop or the second baseman. Wow.
So the pitcher will not be given credit for a sacrifice. It will be a fielder's choice, but you can't do it any better than Tyler Anderson just did it. They started the runner. It was clear all the way. That was a suicide squeeze. The runner was in full sprint coming down the line from third when he put the bat on the ball and got it on the ground. That's a great example for a lot of young players out there. Don't have to be just a pitcher, but if you're asked to put down a bunt like that with one out in an inning, you better scoot up the first base line. And that's what Anderson did. Instead of just being satisfied with a good bunt, he ran hard and beat out the relay throw. And that makes it 3-1 Colorado. Strike three called on LeMahieu, and that's all. Bottom part of the order getting Mahle here in the fourth.
And as we continue to keep an eye on the Reds' injured starting pitchers, or not so injured, Anthony DeSclafani, I talked to him this afternoon, and he said that he feels great. Typical soreness between starts, but he said, for me, that's a good thing because I'm glad to be back in my normal routine as a starting pitcher. Said he's looking forward to the next time out. As for Homer Bailey, he threw earlier today in the Reds bullpen, and Jim Riggleman said tentatively he'll be in a game, a rehab start in the minor leagues in the next 4 to 5 days. They still want to keep him stretched out as a starter, and they said as far as what happens after that, when Bailey is healthy again, they'll look at his performance as well as the performances among the rotation members here in Cincinnati, and then make that decision about the next step for Bailey based on those two factors.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Brian.
Now, answer me this.
Sure.
The slide rule prohibits runners from using a roll block or attempting to initiate contact with the fielder by elevating or kicking his leg above the fielder's knee. Okay, that didn't happen. Or throwing his arm or upper body or grabbing the fielder. His upper body was even with Blandino when he came across the bag. I disagree with their decision, but I'm biased.
Well, look, it's not a matter of even being biased. It's a matter of just reading the rule and then just what you just saw. And I'm sure the umpires will be asked about it after the game.
I mean, you stay down there, you're fine. That is not fine. The right arm comes up immediately, right into the throwing arm of Alex Blandino. That would be almost like running home and you act like you tripped and you slam the catcher back and he can't catch the ball. So I guess you just have to be a good actor. But you do have to say this for the left-hander Anderson so far today. He has been quite pitch efficient. The only time he's run into trouble was there in that second inning. He was able to work out of it with a couple of ground ball outs. 3 up, 3 down. A very quick inning in the third.
Well, the third inning was a 6-pitch inning to retire Hamilton, and he struck him out, followed by Schebler and Blandino. Three balls and 2 strikes. A count on Joey Votto. He bounced out to the second baseman LeMahieu his first time up. Ball for Votto. Close 3-2 pitch. First walk of the game given up by Anderson.
Came hard in on Suarez in his last at bat. That hard cutter right in on his hands. That was the ball that Suarez got jammed on to the first baseman. A little flare pop up.
Pulled foul out of play by Suarez, way out in front of an 82-mile-per-hour changeup from Anderson. Second time he's done that to Suarez. Started him with a first pitch off speed to get ahead of strike. He got Suarez to pop up his first time up.
And he comes right back in with that hard cutter. This time he throws it in the dirt rather than right on his hands.
Two and two on Suarez. Ball to follow. Casali after him. Reds down 3-1. They've been out hit 4-3. And the game's only error allowed an unearned run to score for the Rockies in the first inning. Suarez gone on strikes, and that's number 2 of the game for Anderson.
Came up high with a fastball on the previous pitch and then buries the slider down and in. Duvall didn't wait around too long in his first at bat. First thing he saw he liked, he was hacking.
He ripped a single into left field, wound up scoring when Casali, the next batter, doubled down into the left field corner.
Pretty good pickoff move. Anderson has gotten a few this year with that same move. That little pause hesitation works not only in his favor coming to the plate, but also going to first.
Similar to the move that Andy Pettitte had for many years, and he was considered to have among the very best pickoff moves, not only during his lengthy career, but arguably of all time. Nothing in one on Duvall. Fastball taken high.
Anderson picked off Peraza in the game in Colorado at first base, if I remember correctly. Walked him and then picked him off.
You're exactly right. It went officially as a caught stealing because they threw to first and they threw him out at second base, but you're right, they had him caught. Still 1-2 on Adam Duvall. Runner at first and 1 out. And a fastball misses high.
I mean, when you can get a base runner to dive back into the bag, as we saw Votto do there, and you've only got a 2 or 3 step lead, that tells you guy's got a pretty good move. He's got a little deception there. Does not appear Votto's taking any chances after that first time.
Four feet, you just fall over and touch a bag. Pulled the string on him with a changeup on a 3-2 pitch, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Anderson. He has 3 of them in the game. So here's Casale, who showed some pop in his bat. He had an RBI double in the 2nd inning. In his first 6 at bats as a Red, he has 4 hits, 2 doubles, and a home run with 2 batted in. An excuse me roller there, and a force out will end the inning. 1 walk, 1 left. We played 4, and Colorado leads by 2. Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Cincinnati Children's, changing the outcome together. And by your local Ford dealer, Ford. Go further. Reds trying to get out of this series with a victory. They trail 3-1 with the Rockies coming to bat here in the 5th. Great seat out there in the Pilot House. Big crowd out there today. Must be some kind of company function going on out there.
They are loaded out there today.
Tyler Mahle climbs the hill here in the 5th inning. He has 70, officially 79 pitches he's thrown so far. And it's strike 1 to Blackman. He'll face Blackman, Arenado, Gonzalez. Heart of the order. One on Blackman. In there a strike. Mally's allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. He's walked 2, struck out 5, and hit a batter. Long run out there. It's going to fall in a base hit. And Blackman just dumps one into short left field near the line. Rockies have had at least 1 base runner in every inning so far today. Cardinals are coming in town starting tomorrow night. Saturday, if you're one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates, you'll get a Scooter Jeanette bobblehead presented by Dynegy Energy Services. You can be here as low as $12. Reds and the Cardinals. For tickets, visit reds.com. Big night, or big afternoon. Again, a reminder, that is not a night game on Saturday. That is a 4:10 start. Saturday afternoon.
And that's another base hit where Mahle was ahead in the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Arenado today has bounced into a double play, and he's also been called out on strikes. That was a 96-mile-per-hour fastball, knee high on the outside corner, that had him looking back in the third inning. 0-2 on Arenado. Down the left field line and bending foul. That would have been an 0-2 pitch for a 2-run bomb.
Somehow I don't believe that's where Malley was trying to throw.
Nope. Wouldn't think. In the air, and Duvall ranging to his right. Looks like Blackman's going to tag up and come to second base. Here comes a throw, and he is out by 20 feet. Duvall among the very best arms in all of left field, among the most accurate. He led the league in outfield assists a season ago, and that's an easy chop down to Blackman.
This is one of those plays where normally you like the aggressiveness of Charlie Blackman, but don't you check the scouting report? I mean, that was a very easy throw for Adam Duvall, right on the money. He didn't even have to hurry.
I got to tell you, I am stunned that Bud Black did not challenge that call, because Dixon is not an experienced second baseman. It looked like it tagged him right between the legs after Blackman's foot had already hit the bag. I mean, maybe, you know, the ball beats a runner that far, so I mean, take a look at this. Reaching, I don't know where the contact, that's where the contact is. His foot's on the bag. Reds may have caught a break.
Too late.
Too late is right. See, that's the thing I don't understand. I mean, I really don't get it. You're paying people to make sure things like that are not missed. That's one of the little things that seems to frequently slip through the cracks, and I am frequently stunned when things like that happen. I mean, look, everybody can make mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But if your job is to help your team determine whether or not a player is out or safe, and how many you're going to have over the course of a game, right? Maybe 2 or 3. We've had a couple today already. Because that right there, if he's safe, this is a run. Instead, this is a ball that goes to the gap. And that's a 2-out double for Carlos Gonzalez on another 1-2 pitch. I know they had an earlier challenge where they lost a play at the plate, where they wondered, was their runner, or when Adam Duvall came in to slide. And they lost that challenge back in the Cincinnati, second inning.
It's the only run the Reds have right now.
0-1 the count on Trevor Story. Well, it's our understanding now that with the challenges we've had already today, and neither team has won a challenge today, that the reason they didn't challenge because they're officially out right now. We've already had, what, 3 or 4 reviews in this game. More than you really see in an entire game. We've had that many already through the first 4 innings, so that's why they did not look at it. So I certainly apologize to those responsible in that Colorado clubhouse for making that determination. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 hits and 1 left. Colorado still leads 3-1.
Grail with Mo Egger from 700 WLW to be a part of the Reds Fan Cam. Answer a Reds trivia question. You could win some great prizes and be a part of our Reds Live coverage. The party gets started at 6 o'clock this Friday at the Holy Grail. That could be your first stop on a big weekend as the Cardinals come to downtown Cincinnati.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. We got squared away trying to figure out who had challenged what. Of course, the rule in baseball is, and they've altered this since it started originally with replay, you get 1 challenge each team. If you challenge a play and you lose it, you don't get another one. If you challenge a play and you win it,
you get another one.
Then you get another one. And you can keep going and going and going and going if you keep winning challenges. So the Rockies' only challenge was on the call of Adam Duvall at the plate, which the Rockies lost, so they don't have another. The Reds won their first challenge today. They were granted another, and then they lost on the challenge on the slide out at second base. So neither team can challenge a play the rest of the day. That doesn't mean a play can't be reviewed the rest of the game. The umpires can make that decision.
Or you can ask them.
Yes.
But they're not about to do that on a tag play after you've already called him out. Now maybe on a collision play or something of that nature, or a home run call. Yeah.
And of course you can request a crew chief review from the 8th inning on. That's another one they altered. It used to be 7th, 8th, and 9th. 1 ball and 2 strikes, a count on Brandon Dixon. Reds down 3-1. And Dixon gone. That's a nasty slider that Anderson has working here today. That's 4 strikeouts, 3 of them in the last inning and a third.
You see where the pitch is. It starts right at the bottom of the strike zone, and then the bottom falls out of it. But what sets that up is being able to throw consistent fastballs at that part of the strike zone. The only way that the breaking ball is worth anything is because the hitter thinks it's a fastball.
Michael Lorenzen will be sent up as a pinch hitter. The Reds have 4 players on their bench, 4 very good offensive players. But they're going to use Lorenzen here in just the 5th inning. So another 5-inning start by a member of the Reds rotation. Malley allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned in his 5 innings today. He walked 2 and fanned 6. Well, the Reds just cannot get a starter. Seemingly every day through this 2018 season through more than 5 innings of a game for one reason or another. And that's exactly what this rotation is averaging through 62 games this year. 5 innings per start. So you're asking that bullpen to get you 16 or the final 4 innings, so a total of 12 outs every single game. And Lorenzen with a pinch hit single, and he slams on the brakes after a hard turn. Lorenzen, a career .235 hitter with 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. He can rake.
He's not your normal pitcher stepping up to the plate.
Well, you brought it up last night. I have no doubt in my mind that Lorenzen could be a 2-way player. There is no question in my mind whatsoever. And he might be the only guy along with Ohtani that I could say that about, unless there's some player for another team that, you know, we never see. That's his 2nd career pinch hit.
He's got a pinch hit home run. Opposite field.
That ball came off his bat at 116, almost 117 miles per hour. That is off the charts.
They need to change that launcher.
He might have to. Well, if he got any playing time, maybe he would. He's just an unbelievable athlete. We talked about the physical condition that he is in.
I'm sure Ryan McMahon is telling him right now, hey, it's not that easy, big guy.
Tapper down to third. That's all they're going to get is one, and a good hard clean slide there by Lorenzen. That's the way you taught to do it.
Well, you see where Lorenzen is as his body comes up. The base caused the contact with second base caused him to come up. Earlier in the ball game, Tony Wolter's slide, he was nowhere near the mitt.
So here's Schebler, 1 of 2, is single to left and flied out to left. Reds batting in the last of the 5th inning, trailing 3-1.
Well, you're still in a position where one swing of the bat can put you tied in this ball game. And I think you take every chance. If you're Jim Riggleman, you take every chance you get. You just try to keep them as close as you can. And hope this kid makes a mistake.
Amir Garrett will be coming on for the Reds out of their bullpen when the Rockies bat in the 6th inning, it appears.
Well, how good has he been?
Cool. Among the very best in all of baseball. This might be the single best job I've ever seen any pitcher since Billy Hamilton has come to the major leagues.
At holding him at first base.
Holding him at first base.
Well, the move, the leg kick from Anderson is so deceptive. I just don't think that you can take any kind of liberties at all, because if you can't read it, you can't get a lead. Normally, Billy Hamilton is all the way out to this cut of the grass. I mean, way out here, beyond the hat of Ryan McMahon. Right now, he's maybe halfway there. I mean, that's the shortest lead maybe Billy's had all year.
He got a great jump there, though. He guessed right that the pitcher was not going to throw to first base, and he took off and would easily have stolen second base. To be that fast.
I think the key there for Hamilton is as the knee was coming up from Anderson, Billy took a little jab step back to first base as if to decoy him. He was going back to the bag, and then he took off for second. And now a slide step. Of course, if you slide step and you leave one in the middle of the plate right now, trying to keep Billy from stealing second, it might cost you 2 runs. Of course, there are a lot of folks, if you don't pay attention to the Reds on a daily basis, you say, well, you got a left-hander on the mound, left-hander at the plate. Chances are he's probably going to throw him a slider. He's not going to hit it. Schebler hits better against left-handed pitching than he does against right-handed pitching. Significantly better.
And he serves one into left field. It'll fall a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Hamilton will easily score from first. And that makes it a 1-run game on a double by Schebler.
And I go back to my original thought. Why wage war with Billy Hamilton at first base. You've got an 0-2 count on a left-handed batter, and you continue to wage war, slide step, trying to pick off, step back. You've got 2 outs in the inning.
A lot of times, Cowboy, we've talked about it before. I don't know about the Rockies, but a lot of time that stuff's being called from the dugout. And these are guys who are supposed to be a lot smarter than maybe some of those guys who don't have much experience or a lot of experience that are out there playing, and in this case, pitching. I don't know.
Well, I think it goes back to raising a teenager. Sometimes you pick your battles, and that wasn't a battle.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, but you see it so frequently. Guys paying so much attention to people on base.
I mean, I'm okay if it's a 1-run ball game.
Sure.
It's not a 1-run ball game. It's a 2-run game, and you've got 2 outs and 0-2. Kick that leg up as high as you can kick it and try to strike the guy out. If he steals second, so what? He steals third. You still 0-2 or 1-2.
1 ball and 1 strike on Alex Blandino.
But I think what it comes down to is Tyler Anderson's got a great move. I can get him. I can pick him off. I know I can get him here. I'll get Billy Hamilton. Pride is a dangerous thing. Now you put yourself in a spot where a base hit here tie the ball game.
Yep. Well, he jumps in front of Blandino at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Alex has bounced into a double play and has popped up to Gonzalez in right. Diving play by Arenado. Are you kidding me? Arenado with a spectacular play on the cut of the grass in the dirt behind the third base bag. This would have tied the game.
Game saver.
Nolan Arenado. That's about as good as it gets.
Back this date in Reds history presented by Geico, and when you see Joey Votto make that slow walk to first base, that's a good sign. June 7th, 2016 against the Cardinals. Votto with that walk-off homer to send the Reds and Reds fans home happy. But also bonus coverage on this date in 1953. The old left-hander, Joe Nuxhall, hit his first home run in the bigs, and he still holds the Reds record for most home runs by a pitcher with 13. The old left-hander, we know what he did on the mound. He could swing it at the plate as well.
Better believe that. Good stuff, Brian Giesenslaw. Real good stuff. Anytime we can talk about the old left-hander.
He could talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yes, he could. All right, so here's Amir Garrett. We know what kind of year he's having. He doesn't talk a lot about it, but he certainly walks the walk. He's only allowed 7 runs all year long, and 5 of the 7 have come on 3 different home runs. Freddie Freeman, Hernan Perez, and Austin Meadows. This guy has just had a phenomenal start to this 2018 season, exclusively out of the bullpen. Sinking liner, and that's a base hit by Tauchman. He has 2 hits today. He had 1 hit all year. Part of a double switch made by Jim Riggleman. Alex Blandino out at short, Jose Peraza in at short, and he will bat in the number 8 spot. Garrett will bat in the vacated spot of Blandino, number 2.
You named 3 home runs that Garrett has given up, 2 of those being left-handed batters. Did you find that a little bit weird?
And really 2 of them happened in a span of a few days, if I remember right. This one is whacked by a left-handed batter down the right field line, McMahon. So after 2 batters, the Rockies get 2 hits, score a run. Throw there is offline. And that will be an RBI triple by Ryan McMahon to make it a 4-2 game. Every time the Reds have scored in an inning, the Rockies have scored the very next half inning.
It's a hanging breaking ball, stays over the middle of the plate. And McMahon just hooks it. You know, it's interesting here as Dixon took that throw, the play was at third. There was no play at home, but yet as he turned, his body mechanics looked like he was coming to the plate, and he just happened to pick it up out of the corner of his eye to third base. That's going to leave a mark.
And yet here's another game where Walters is on base all 3 plate appearances. A walk and been hit by a pitch now twice. Told you coming into the game, the catching duo of Colorado, which roughly Iannetta and Walters combined are hitting under 200 or right at 200. They have 8 hits, 6 walks, been hit by 3 pitches in 23 plate appearances. They've been on base 17 times.
Walters will run, and he's got some stolen bases under his belt, a couple of them. And we saw that little squeeze bunt, almost a bunt and run, if you will, earlier from the pitcher Anderson. Evidently Bud Black has some confidence in his ability to handle the bat at the plate.
And Tauchman was the runner at third base, so he just scored. It's McMahon the runner at third base now. 1-0 the count, and the runner at third is going to stay put. Garrett will get the out at first, so give a sacrifice to Anderson. Advancing Walters on to second base, 1 out in the inning. Cardinals are already in the 5th inning. They started later than we did by a solid hour plus today, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Cardinals have had their problems the last couple of days against the Marlins. Marlins have won the last 2 games of that series.
We talk about strikeouts a lot, Tom, because there are a lot of strikeouts in the game today. These are the situations that strikeouts really matter. There's nobody on base. That strikeout, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
Driven on the first pitch into right field. This will bring in another run. Schebler at the track makes a catch. Both runners are going to advance, and that'll make it 5-2 Colorado. LeMahieu drives in his 18th run. Breaking ball on the outside corner evens things up on Charlie Blackmon. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner at third with 2 away, 2 runs home here in the Colorado 6th inning. Rockies are trying to win their 22nd game of the year on the road. This is their 35th road game this season. They've played 27 home games. It was far more lopsided than that before they returned home when the Reds were there last week. This should be the final out of the inning. Underneath it, Casali, if he has room, he does, and that's that. But Colorado gets to Garrett for a pair, and the lead is 3. Our Marvel superhero night at the ballpark. You buy the Marvel Superhero Ticket Package, you take home an exclusive Captain America bobblehead. Limited quantities of these are available. And remember, the Marvel bobblehead is only available with the purchase of the ticket package. That'll be coming up tomorrow night. A lot of youngsters, a lot of summer camps and that kind of thing going on in and around town with school out for, in some cases, a second week. In most cases, the first full week out of school. Joey Votto to lead things off here in the Cincinnati 6th inning. Joey has bounced out to LeMahieu on a fine play made by the Colorado second baseman up the middle in the first inning, and then Joey walked in the fourth. That is the only walk that has been given up by Tyler Anderson today. This will be just his 78th pitch of the game, and here we are starting the bottom of the 6th inning.
You look back through Tyler Anderson's ball game, he's had pretty good command of his breaking ball, especially early in the count. He's been able to drop some changeups in there, about 40%. But what it's done is it's allowed his fastball to creep up on the Reds hitters even when it's been out of the strike zone. You show early in a ball game that you can throw a breaking ball for a strike. Gives the hitter a little more to think about.
Well, that had to hurt right there. It's right off the top of the foot. Votto doesn't wear any protection there. It's little plays like that that frequently amaze me about guys who play, you know, multiple games consecutively, and no one has done that with more frequency over the last number of years since that initial knee injury than Joey Votto. I mean, they have streaks of a couple of 100, 150, 180, those kinds of things, and just a foul ball off the foot like that, where now, you play the last couple of innings, that thing starts to blow up on you and starting to get swollen, gets very, very sore, and I mean, you can bet the ranch Votto will be right back in the lineup tomorrow night. But those are the little things that just amaze you when you see some of these guys play day after day after day and rarely ever miss a start like Votto. Hits a deck. This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat coming up. And then paints the inside corner at 92 miles per hour. That's quite a pitch. 5 strikeouts for Anderson.
Well, normally you come up and in after a series of breaking balls. The hitter's thinking, all right, he's going to go back to that breaking ball down and away. Try to keep your hands back for a little bit. You know he can throw it for a strike because he's done it the entire game. And he nails the inside corner with a fastball. Like I said, it gives you something else to think about when you have command of your secondary pitches.
Fly ball to center off the bat of Eugenio Suarez. 2 down. Very similar to what we saw the other night. In fact, identical to what we saw the other night from Kyle Freeland. His first 23 batters that he faced, all but 4 threw a first pitch strike.
I know that's heavily emphasized by every pitching coach, but a lot emphasized even more so, not just the fastball for a first pitch strike, but a secondary pitch for a first pitch strike from pitching coach Steve Foster. You got a manager that's a pitching coach, and then you've got a guy that pitched. Both of these guys pitched in the big leagues. They've got a pretty good understanding about what it takes to get the job done.
Get a look at the kid zone area in the fan zone part of the ballpark. Now that's the wiffle ball stadium down there.
Now the little kids like to run around the bases. The big kids, like the guy at the plate, he wants to hit it over the fence.
Oh yeah,
and watch it. Oh yeah.
And then they have the big kids batting cages, as you know, which is really nice. Just below them.
Now, in the kids' wiffle ball area,
yes,
is that a Reds employee that's throwing that entire time?
Yeah, they have. Well, I mean, you can have them do it. I think they'll do it sometimes to make sure that if there's a line that it continues to flow. But sometimes if you get down there and it's not very crowded, they generally don't have any problem if you want to go out there and flip them up there to your son or daughter. They do a great job out there. Yeah, there you see they have 2 or 3 employees out there that are flipping the ball, but they have that line over far to the left where kids are waiting to get in.
I just wanted to know how his arm felt the next day. I don't care what you're throwing. If you're throwing a wiffle ball or a baseball, if you're throwing it a lot, you get a little sore.
Now the batting cages down there have pitching machines. It's another pop-up. I tell you what, these couple of pitchers that were struggling in this Colorado rotation coming into this series, they're really pitching well here.
Concourse here at Great American Ballpark. Remember, before every Reds game, home or away, it's Reds Live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We'll be back in that spot tomorrow night for the start of a 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Starting that series off on the mound for the Redlegs, Matt Harvey goes back to the hill. He'll take on Luke Weaver for the Cardinals. The other matchups in that series, Castillo, Waka, DeSclafani, Carlos Martinez. The Cardinals right now, Tom mentioned earlier, leading the Marlins in the 6th 2-0.
And the Dodgers in the 6th inning lead the Pirates 4-1, wrapping up that series at PNC Park. And the Cubbies just underway. They're in the bottom of the 1st inning at Wrigley Field. The Phils and the Cubs. Cubs winning on a walk-off grand slam last night, I believe it was, from Jason Hayward. Thought I saw that headline today. Didn't read it, but thought I saw that headline. 2 strikes, 2 outs. I'm told. First time that Jason Hayward has ever ended a game with a home run. Garrett able to get to the ball. 1-hop throw, not in time. So Arenado able to leg that one out, and he's aboard to begin the 7th inning against Garrett.
It's one of those spots for a pitcher. Ball gets back on you. You're worried about trying to keep your balance after the throw, and it's almost a depth perception issue when the ball comes back, whether it's hard or soft. You're just trying not to get hit in the head.
got to be scary. Slowly hit to the right side. They'll get the lead runner, and that'll be all off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. 1 out. Two big runs in that Colorado sixth. Rare runs against this guy. But it took it from a 1-run game after the Reds had scored in the bottom of the 5th inning to where we stand with a 3-run cushion for Colorado. Last time the Reds will see the Rockies this season. It's hard to believe, you know, basically by the first week of June that the Reds are finished going west of the, well, I beg your pardon, Kansas City. We're going there next week, but they'll be finished going anywhere close to the Rocky Mountains for the remainder of this season. They've already gone to Arizona. They've gone to San Diego. They've gone to San Francisco. They've gone to Los Angeles. They've gone to Denver.
So basically, you're telling me our time zone change is not going to be as dramatic.
No, only the Central and the Eastern the rest of the way. That's it.
Good with that.
And that means short flights, Cowboy. And you pretty much are the captain of, you know, the broadcast crew when it comes to making sure everybody's situated on the team charter flight. So you'll be happy to know, you know, I would imagine we won't have a trip any more than roughly about an hour and what, 40 minutes or something like that. And that'd be going to Miami. Well, maybe two going to Miami.
A 3-hour time differential going out to California. Not real good for my sleep pattern.
What about for the boiler?
Well, if you don't sleep, boiler ain't real happy. It's nothing like waking up at about 4 o'clock in the morning in a strange hotel room and you have no idea where you're
That's
at.
right. And that always happens when you bring the kids along on a trip like that, maybe once every blue moon. And then you get out there and they want to be in the swimming pool at 4:30 in the morning. We've been there.
Tell me about it.
Been down there waking people up all over the hotel at about 5 of 5. Two and 0 on Tuchman. Slider catches the outside corner. 2 down, a runner at second base. Reds have work to do. And I don't think there's any action in that Colorado bullpen. I mean, why would there be? Anderson's coming off a 1-2-3 inning. His pitch count is in the very low to mid 80s.
Well, when you look at a pitch count in general for the entirety of a ball game, if you're throwing on average 15 pitches an inning, you're going to get to 7 innings relatively easily, and that's the whole key. But if you're throwing 20 or 22, 25 pitches an inning, you may not get through 5. It's just too taxing on the body.
Anderson is at 93 pitches. We'll see if he comes out for the bottom of the 7th. As the home team comes to bat in the last of the 7th inning, trailing Colorado 5-2. It will indeed still be Tyler Anderson out there on the mound. I mean, he just cruised through that 6th inning. He had a lengthy at bat for Votto to start and wound up striking him out, but then dispensed of Suarez and Duvall rapidly. Ah, yes, get that sunscreen on. Dad's showing up prepared today. It's a big league move right there. Can't forget that, Cowboy.
No doubt.
Now, are you the guy when the family decides you're going to go on vacation, or you're going to go maybe sit out by the swimming pool, your family's in town, it's really nice, and you know, maybe you're going to go out and sit in the sunshine for a little while? Are you the guy that brings that bag along, that beach bag along that has all the stuff in it, you know, the goggles and the sunscreen and all that? Is that sort of your area of expertise in planning?
if Ashley tells me to carry it. But I don't do the spraying of the sunscreen on the kids.
You don't?
But I did. But
then you were told not well.
They got sunburned in some
Right,
spots.
right, that's right.
It'll work out real good. I got shut down on that.
Hey, look, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. I never realized what a jerk I was till I got married. Here's a 1-2 delivery. Where all my shortcomings. Like putting on sunscreen.
I never put on sunscreen when I got married. Never thought it was necessary.
Polly knows I'm kidding. Kasawi to lead things off here in the Reds' 7th inning, a 3-2 count. He has an RBI double, and he's bounced into a fielder's choice to be followed by Dixon and then Jose Peraza batting in the number 8 spot. One out. Now that guy right there is catching a few rays. I don't know if he lathered up on the sunscreen or not, but he's dialed in, no doubt. Ooh, first pitch changeup, and Dixon nearly swung himself into the ground.
Well, this has been the way that Anderson has pitched from the entirety. Off speed early. Fastball located in on the hands late.
That was his 100th pitch of the afternoon. You know, the other part about pitch count, and we talk about it frequently, but you know, you look at how many pitchers pitches you throw in a game under stress. And there has virtually been no stress in this game for Tyler Anderson. I mean, he allowed a 1-out double to knock in a run in the 2nd inning, and then he had the bottom part of the order retire 2 guys in a row. He had a perfect 3rd. He had a leadoff walk, but retired 3 in a row in the 4th. Did give up a run in the 5th on the double by Schebler, but then comes right back with a 1-2-3 6th. So
I can remember Davey Johnson when I played for him here in Cincinnati. He would tell, basically informing the bullpen, all right, the starter has 2 stressful innings. They may happen in the 5th or the 6th or the 7th or the 8th. They might happen in the 1st and the 2nd. But after those 2, when it happens in the 3rd, I'm going to get him. And that way you had a general idea about when to be ready. You only have so many times that you can raise that level to 100% and the max effort on every pitch and still be effective. And that goes back to, you get to 75 pitches and you start to try to throw that thing into high gear again, not happening.
Arenado, boy, has he been slick today. He's slick every day. I mean, you talk to those who watch him and they will tell you there is no debate as to who the best defensive third baseman in the National League, if not all of baseball, is, and he's flashing that leather today.
Another off-speed pitch down in the zone. And I mean, Brendan Dixon was busting it out of the batter's box as soon as he made contact. Now, you bobble that ball at all, he's safe at first. That's why he's got the hardware at third base.
Just love the way he bounces around. He's always on the balls of his feet. You know, we don't know if he's nursing an injury. There was a play early in the game when he got doubled up on a double play ball, and it didn't look like he was running all that hard. But I mean, if you just watch him, he is constantly moving. He's into the game.
Especially in the batter's box.
Yeah, there too. He's got a lot of energy about him, and he's another guy who plays every day. Straight away center field, Peraza's first at bat. 7 in a row retired by Anderson. Might let him pitch into the 8th. He is on cruise control.
Dogs when they take on the Cardinals here at Great American Ballpark on Saturday. Be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates to get a Scooter Gennett bobblehead presented by Dynegy Energy Services. See your Reds take on the Cardinals for as little as $12 for tickets. You can go to reds.com, and that Scooter bobblehead is, as you can see, Scooter on a scooter. He was examining that bobblehead earlier today in the Reds clubhouse. It's original, fairly good likeness as bobbleheads go, so pick one of those up this weekend here at the ballpark.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, that's a 4-10 start on Saturday. Tyler Mahle gave up 3 to earn. Garrett gives up 2 in 2 innings, and now the pitcher is Wandy Peralta. Reds trailing 5-2. The Rockies bat, latter third in the order here in the 8th inning. So it's going to be an interesting decision to see what Bud Black does here. I mean, Tyler Anderson is just carving people up right now, and I know he's over 100 pitches in the game. But with 2 of their top relievers having pitched, what, Cowboy, 3 days in a row, you said?
Both McGee and Davis have pitched 3 days in a row.
All right, well, if you've thrown your top 2 guys with Ottavino out, injured, right? I mean, do you want to hand a 3-run lead? Now, this time a year ago, I'd hand a 3-run lead. I'd hand a 1-run lead to Brian Shaw all day, every day.
Right.
But not the guy we've seen so far in a Colorado uniform. And he's getting loose in that bullpen.
And if he's getting loose, I've got to believe he's coming in the ball game.
And they have a pinch hitter standing in the on-deck circle for the time being.
Actually, they've got a lefty and Brian Shaw. Mike Dunn and Brian Shaw.
Soft liner to short.
Well, that was a weird liner. That ball looked like Peralta was going to reach for it, and it ends up in the glove of Peraza back towards shortstop. Ball had some serious fade to it. Hit it off the end of the bat. Watch this ball turn right back to Peraza. That had a lot of spin on it.
Noel Cuevas will come up and bat here in the 8th inning. What a performance turned in by Tyler Anderson here today. 7 innings of 5-hit 2-run baseball. Only walked 1 batter while fanning 5. It's an excellent start by Tyler Anderson. Reds, if you're looking ahead of the bottom of the 8th, they will have Billy Hamilton to lead things off, then back to the top of the order. Go with Shebler, and then they'll have to pinch hit for Wandy Peralta. No more Anderson today. Trying to send his record to 4-1 on the year. As Cowboy mentioned before this game got started, he had been limping into this series. But not today.
It's not as though he had pinpoint control with his fastball. He just had great ability to get that first pitch breaking ball over the plate from the get-go of this ball game.
Peraza on the chopper over the mound. He'll handle all 3 batted balls in the inning. Nice job by Peralta. Reds bat in the 8th, down by 3 against a Colorado bullpen. Coming to bat, and we mentioned that Tyler Anderson is lifted from the game after being pinch hit for in the top of the inning. And now they'll bring on the left-hander who's had a very, very good major league career. Not necessarily a very good start to 2018, and that would be left-hander Mike Dunn.
Yeah, besides Wade Davis and Adam Ottavino, and Ottavino's not available, and I assume that Davis may be in that same category as we mentioned, pitched 3 days in a row. Not too many guys in that Colorado bullpen that have gotten off to a good start.
All right, so Billy Hamilton to start things. He'll be followed by Schebler, and then a pinch hitter with a left-hander on the mound. Perhaps we see, well, it depends on how many are on. Tucker Barnard is switch hitter, still available on the bench. You have left-handed batters Jeanette and Winker available. That's it. Reds have used Jose Peraza. He's in the game, and earlier they got a pinch hit single from Michael Lorenzen. 2-1 to Billy. 0 for 2. Has scored a run.
"15 walks in 16 innings for Mike Dunn.
See the bullpen ERA. St. Louis comes to town tomorrow night, third highest on that list. And there's ball 4 to Billy Hamilton. Saw Miami at the top of that list. That was a team that gave up oh no, that was Philadelphia, I'm sorry, the grand slam last night.
Well, I think the best way to apply pressure to a bullpen, and any pitcher for that matter, you just build the inning. You've got to create some semblance of traffic. We saw the bit of havoc that Hamilton created earlier, and when he got on base, 2 outs, an 0-2 count on Schebler. Ultimately, Hamilton ends up scoring. Here we go.
Into right field, and now the Reds have action. Billy will advance on to second base. He had to turn out of the way of that line drive from Schebler. Schebler's hit the ball very hard. That's his 3rd hit of the game. And again, it comes against the left-hander.
Interesting to see Schebler swing the bat the way that he is lately. Now a 7-game hitting streak. 13 for his last 26. Maybe he stays at the top of the order.
Well, we talked about the decision on who would pinch hit, and we said it would depend on the situation. I mean, right now, you're bringing a guy in who you're hoping can run into one and tie this game, and that, of course, is Scooter Gennett. Scooter against left-handed pitching this season is batting .364 with 4 of his 12 home runs and obviously far fewer number of plate appearances. So this leaky Colorado bullpen takes over after Anderson gave him 7 outstanding innings, and you've got walk, single, nobody out.
Well, the last thing that Mike Dunn wants to do here is get behind in the count and let Jeanette keyhole him and have to throw a fastball in the middle of the plate. And he's heading in that direction.
Ball 1. Jeanette a whopping .344 batting average overall this year. Breaking ball near a strike. Somebody asked me earlier this morning when I stopped into UDF, the last Red to win a batting title. You have to go all the way back to Pete Rose when he batted .338 in 1973. So it's been a long time. Scooter Gennett waits.
Best opportunity the Reds have had here this afternoon. Nobody out, first and second.
Boy, and I mean Dunn is nowhere near getting anybody out. 3 balls and a strike. Well, we brought up before all the success that Dunn has had against Joey Votto.
Well, he will face Votto,
yes,
but that will be his last batter.
Now, he did get a single off him here a couple of nights ago. Votto, just his second hit against Dunn in 14 career official at bats. He has walked 4 times. It's a big pitch right here. Momentum pitch. Find a way to reach, you got serious action. Of course, Dunn is thinking dramatically different from that. Threw a fastball in on his hand.
That's a good
Scooter
pitch.
fouls it away.
Because Gennett is thinking, okay, I can guard against the slider away, the fastball away. Anything that's on the inside part of the plate, I'm really going to have to fight off, especially with 3-2 being the count. But now that you fouled it off, you put Dunn in a quandary.
And Dunn has come in, and the Reds have loaded the bases with nobody out.
Buddy Black has already pointed to the bullpen. He's not even going to let Dunn face Votto.
They have Scott Oberg down there throwing. They had Brian Shaw earlier. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Dunn faces 3 batters, gives up a hit and 2 walks. The Reds trying to climb right back in it. Pen gate opens. You never know what you're going to get. And the way that Tyler Anderson was throwing the ball, especially, well, not only all 7, but his last 2 where he retired 7 in a row. And I mean, just overwhelmed everybody. But Bud Black decides to go to that bullpen. And Mike Dunn issues 2 walks. He allows a hit. Rockies do lead by 3, but now the Reds in business with the heart of the order coming up to face Scott Oberg.
And let's remember, we talked about this earlier. Jake McGee, the left-hander, 3 days in a row. The closer Wade Davis has pitched 3 days in a row. So even if they do come into the ball game, not quite on their best game.
Inning started with a walk to Hamilton, a single by Schebler, and then a walk to Gennett. And here's Votto. We mentioned he has not knocked in a run since the middle of May, the 16th to be exact. He couldn't be in a better spot to change that. Strike 1.
Well, I don't think you can be in a better spot right now if you're the Reds, with Votto and Suarez coming to the plate with nobody out, the bases loaded, and a chance to really do some damage.
Votto has only seen Oberg one time, and Oberg walked him.
He's thrown him 2 sliders right on the inside part of the plate, and both of them, Votto a bit tentative.
One ball and 2 strikes, bases loaded, nobody out. And now 2-2. Tapper to the right side, and they'll get it out at first. So Votto does get that first run batted in since May the 16th, giving him 25 total on the year. The other 2 runners advance, so you have the tying run now out there in scoring position for Eugenio Suarez. You know, oftentimes you hear managers say in an age-old adage about you never walk the potential winning run or putting that on base. There is no way I'm pitching to Suarez if I'm Colorado in this spot. It might be against conventional wisdom. No way. Now, they might turn out to be right. But you just have too many other guys on this Reds team that have just not done it the way Suarez has done it. Let's be honest about it. He's a tying run at the plate anyway. What's the difference if he's standing at first? You can say, well, the winning run's at the plate. You're right.
He has definitely been an RBI machine, and the Reds could really use that right here.
And he is, I beg your pardon, after that run scores, he is a go-ahead run at the plate. So what's the difference? But they get ahead of him. Well, that first pitch was called a ball. I think the pitcher was a little upset about that one. Now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Suarez, he has been the man in these situations all year long. Two on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike on Suarez. A rocket 1 hopper, and now they have a runner caught in a rundown. 1 run will score, and the tying run will be tagged out Jeanette. Suarez does advance on to second base. He'll get credit for an RBI on the fielder's choice. That's a nice play made by Story. That ball was scalded.
Crushed. Story actually had to back up and turn to his left. He actually caught the ball behind him. Right on the nose. Just happened to be, I mean, that was one of those catches that maybe caught Story rather than Story catching the baseball. But he did have the presence of mind to go to third and cut down the lead runner.
All right, so here's Winker. He will bat for Adam Duvall. And then you have Casali next.
Well, even with one more at bat, this is your game right here.
Reds looking for a 2-out hit from Winker to try and tie this game. Tell you, if Oberg's able to get out of this thing, you would have to say you can't do it much better than that, considering who he came in to face I mean, neither Votto nor Suarez hits the ball out of the infield. With the bases loaded, none out, 2 on, 1 out.
Well, let's go back to this. How many times do you see a manager take a lefty out and bring in a righty to face Votto with the bases loaded and nobody out? Never.
Nope. 2 balls and a strike on Winker. Not getting the start today. After a good game here last night. Winker had 2 hits, was on base 3 times. And a base hit into right field. They are going to wave around the runner. Gonzalez has a great arm in left. And the call is out at the plate. What an unbelievable throw by Gonzalez. And for whatever reason, Suarez never slid. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Look at that great shot. How cool is that? How about that play by Carlos Gonzalez?
Came and got it. A strike throw on a long hop. And you look at the angle by which Suarez was coming in. I think he was just trying to avoid the tag by standing up. I think you slide on that play. Maybe try to slide back towards the mound and reach back with your hand. But that's also a split-second decision when all of a sudden you see the catcher catch the baseball.
Saw Casali telling him to get down. I'm not sure he ever touched the plate anyway. I mean, you can't give yourself a chance if you never touch the plate. Jared Hughes will take over on the mound. Tapper to the shortstop, Peraza. He's been a busy man. He's only been in for 4 outs of this game, and he's handled every single ball.
That's why you got to have a great glove at shortstop. The majority of the balls are heading your way.
They do have Wade Davis cranking it up in the bullpen.
You know, I had a wise man tell me early in my career when I first started closing ball games, JV, take them when you can get them because they come in bunches. And that wise man was one Goose Gossage. He said you may have times where you go 10 days, 2 weeks, no save opportunity. You might have 5 days in a row where you have an opportunity to pitch. Get yourself ready.
One of the all-time great relievers, the Goose. Three balls and no strikes on Charlie Blackmon. Colorado a 1-run lead now here in the top of the 9th inning. Reds in the bottom of the 9th will have Casali, Dixon, Peraza to start things, it looks like, against their closer Davis. Dixon knocks it down from his knees, throws in time. How about Brandon Dixon, his first ever start at second base in the big leagues? And that is a prime time play.
Well, if there was ever any doubt that Brandon Dixon could play second base, I think he has alleviated a lot of worries by his play today. Not only on a play like that from a diving standpoint, but his ability to turn the double play early in the ball game when it looked like there was no chance, and his ability to make a catch on a dive and still keep his foot on second base, and that was back in the first inning. You said it earlier, a very athletic kid with great baseball acumen.
Now, down in the minor leagues, he played in 6 games at second base. He played in 11 games at first, 6 at second, 4 at third, 10 in left, 2 in right. So this is the kind of guy you want hanging around on your club. I mean, you can plug him in virtually anywhere and everywhere. Hughes has gone 3-0 to the last 2 batters. That's rare for Jared. And now Hughes a 3-0 on Arenado. Takes all the way a strike. Shot into right center field. Hamilton will cut it off, holding Arenado to a single. That's his second hit today. And the inning will continue for Carlos Gonzalez. He made the play of the game just a moment ago. Well, he's made so many of those plays through his outstanding major league career. He's a younger man, a phenomenal athlete, still a good athlete, now into his closing in on his mid-30s. But that is just a picture we've seen so many times before of him charging a ball in right and cutting it loose from over the top to gun down a runner trying to get an extra base. He's done that twice in his series. Hughes a scoreless ninth. So here we go in the bottom of the ninth. Davis trying to save a game for what would be a 3rd straight day.
Ballpark, it's time for the post-game show on Fox Sports Ohio, presented by Performance Kings Honda. We've got highlights. We go inside the manager's office, and today, to tease the post-game show, this is what, you don't get this everywhere. We pull back the curtain on Fox Sports Ohio because logistically, we want to show you that from the position where I've been in the camera well by the home dugout here at the ballpark, I have to make my way, obviously, up to the tunnel here on the third base side, up to the concourse and to the set. So we hope you'll join us there for Reds Live post game. See, I can't walk and talk at the same time. That's coming up next on Fox Sports Ohio.
That's great stuff right there, Brian. Pretty cool to have a chance to see how it works around here. All right, here we are in the bottom of the ninth. The Reds are down a run, and the Rockies bring on their closer, trying to save each of the 3 games of this series, and that's Wade Davis.
Yeah, what's interesting, Tom, the note that I had was that he had pitched 3 games in a row. Well, he will have pitched 3 games in a row, but he had an off day Monday, so not 3 consecutive days in a row.
Well, today actually would be his 4th consecutive game, because he got the loss. Right. You may remember that game on Sunday against the Dodgers.
They had the day off Monday, so that gives him a little bit of leeway.
All right, it's strike 1 on Casali, who is 1 of 3 at an RBI double all the way back in the 2nd inning. Colorado a run in the 1st. The Reds tied it in the 2nd. The Rockies with single runs in the 3rd and the 4th, all off Tyler Mahle, 1 unearned. Reds would get a run back in the 5th, but then a big 2-run 6th inning against Amir Garrett made it a 3-run spread before the Reds came up with a pair of runs off Mike Dunn in the bottom of the 8th, but they were hoping for a lot more than that. because they had the bases loaded with Joey Votto and Eugenio Suarez coming up, and all they got were a pair of fielder's choice ground balls and 2 runs. Of course, the one by Suarez was a rocket. It was an outstanding play made by Story. One ball and 2 strikes on Casali, to be followed by Brandon Dixon and then Jose Peraza.
Stayed away from Casali this entire at bat. Of course, the way he's been hitting the ball on the middle inside part of the plate, I think I'd probably stay away as well.
That one got away from him, and he hits Casali to start the inning.
Supposed to be a breaking ball away. You can see the ball come out of the hand a bit early and catch Casali right on that front elbow.
Well, now Brandon Dixon, a chance to be the hero if he could run into one for what would be, of course, his first major league home run.
Well, that'd be something after the way he's had his day defensively.
Strike 1. Oh, and 2. No need for Dixon to be looking down at Billy Hatcher. There ain't anything going on here. You're in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's an 0-2 count.
That's when they're giving you the hit sign.
Did he go? He went around, and that's strike 3. 1 out here in the Reds' 9th.
Youngster a little too aggressive there against a veteran closer. Started that ball middle away, got it well off the outside corner.
Peraza 1 at bat since coming on defensively. Of course, he comes in with a season high 9-game hitting streak. So we'll try and extend that in just a couple of at bats here today. And more importantly, keep the Reds' chances of coming back alive with a base hit.
Well, you pitch 3 out of 4 days. You're not going to be right on your game. The question for the Reds is, can they pick out a mistake?
Broken bat. Peraza will have to get a new piece of lumber.
Davis feeding him a lot of breaking balls early in the count. Runs that fastball right in on his hands. Peraza trying to stay back and guard as much as he can on the outside part of the plate. That one just ate him up.
And a base hit into left field by Peraza, so his hitting streak does indeed go to 10 in a row. Good for him.
Another breaking ball from Wade Davis that spins on the inside part of the plate, and Peraza didn't let that one pass.
So the Reds again are doing all of their damage, or almost exclusively all of their damage, very late in a game. They didn't do it so much last night, but the other night they had 13 hits and scored 5 runs over their final 4 at bats. Of course, that was against a lot of the mop-up crew when Colorado had a 9-1 lead. Oberg did an excellent job out of their bullpen, and now with the rally caps sported all over the ballpark, they're trying to come up with a win in the bottom of the 9th against Wade Davis. Davis with 20 saves. He's blown 2 the whole year. Boy, and he is still looking in to get a sign. Billy Hamilton the batter, and now he wants timeout.
Well, Billy showed bunt on the first pitch and then pulled the bat back.
Tying run at second. That's in the air down to third base line and unreachable for Arenado. Cincinnati, you go into foul ground, you get a pat on the back. A few other cities, you go over there, you might get mugged.
Or a beer poured on.
0-2 the count on Billy Hamilton with 2 on and 1 out. Well, I tell you, this is ugly for Wade Davis here in this inning.
Well, this is what happens when you get this many days in a short period of time. Yeah, you're the closer. But that forearm and shoulder, they just don't react the same way. It's a little bit tighter. You feel like your adrenaline is there, but look how far this ball sails out of the strike zone.
All right, now the infield comes in for Colorado. The tying run is at third. Peraza will get an enormous lead as a winning run out at second, because all the infielders are playing in front of him. Hamilton gets a base hit with Peraza's speed, and this one's over. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Billy. Inning started with a hit by pitch, an out later, a single by Peraza, and now the 1-2 on Billy Hamilton. 2 away in the inning. I mean, that had no chance. None.
Backup cutter missed well off the plate. I'm sure Hamilton is thinking he's going to come back to the plate. Went the other way.
Well, I'm sure Bud Black is coming out to ask him, you know, would you rather face, you have a left-handed batter here in Schebler, you have a switch hitter in Barnhart next. Remember, he struck out Schebler just 2 days ago in this series for the final out of the game. Or last night, not 2 days ago, last night. He fanned Schebler for the second out of the game last night. Schebler is 0 for 3 all time against Wade Davis. All 3 strikeouts. So it is actually the last 2 days he struck out Schebler to end the game on Tuesday. Struck him out for the second out last night. And now faces Schebler with a tying run at third and the winning run at second here today, the final game of the series.
Well, obviously, Wade Davis's answer was, I want to go after this guy.
So here we go. Schebler has 3 hits in the game today. Strike 1.
And that's the pitch that Schebler had problems with in the first 2 games that you mentioned. That cut fastball. Looks like it's in the middle of the plate. You swing, and the bottom just drops just enough where you swing over the top of it.
Tying run at third, the winning run at second base. Schebler, can he deliver the goods? 1 ball and 1 strike.
What Schebler's got to realize is that Wade Davis is a closer. He doesn't care if he's pitching with the bases loaded. He's trying to make borderline pitches, maybe even pitches that are off the plate, to see if he can get you to swing. If he walks you, he doesn't care.
He okays a sign with his catcher Walters, and here comes the 1-1 pitch, and it's popped up into foul ground and out of play. So now Davis ahead of Schebler. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Casali, the tying run. Peraza, the winning run. The Reds perhaps down to their final strike and their final out. 1 and 2. Davis v. Schebler. Barely got a piece. Chase ball 2 well out of the strike zone. One ball, 2 strikes on Schebler once more. Here it comes. And it bounces in the dirt, and a tying run will score. 2 wild pitches in this inning by Davis. And it is a 5-5 game.
Davis has had problems trying to get that cutter to stay true and coming towards his glove side. You saw the wild pitch earlier. It sailed on him. That one he really tried to get on top of and bury, and he bounces it well out in front of home plate. How about that?
So now Schebler with a base hit could win the game. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. High fly ball down the left field line that will find the stands. Reds have come back from 3 down. 2 in the 8th and a run here in the 9th. And we are tied at 5. Schebler trying to win it in walk-off fashion. The 2-2. We're on our way to extra innings, where this year the Rockies are 3-1, the Reds are 3-2. 5-5 game. AT&T is the official sponsor of Extra Innings. And Raisel Iglesias will take over here in the 10th of a 5-5 game. Jesse Winker stays in the game to play left field.
Well, if you can come out of the bullpen in Iglesias style and put the Rockies in the book here, you got a middle of your order coming to the plate in the bottom of the inning. But what we've seen throughout the day is every time the Reds have scored and pulled close, the Rockies have come right back. And now Iglesias has got to slam the door here.
Just wonder if Bud Black is kicking himself down there for taking his starter out of this game. We said it at the time, so it's not sitting here second guessing anybody. We really admired the fact the other night that he let Freeland go out there and pitch an extra inning, and in a big situation left him there to face a batter. But boy, the way Anderson was pitching today, especially his last 2 innings where he just mowed through the Reds, back-to-back perfect innings. And knowing his bullpen was a little thin to begin with today and the options he had down there, would he do the same thing over again? Because his bullpen has been a disaster today outside of Oberg. Davis coughs up his 3rd save. Dunn does not retire a batter of the 3 that he faces. And that's strike 3 on Trevor Story to begin the 10th inning.
Fastball just overmatched after a couple of breaking balls. But when you're the manager, all you can do is you call the names of your guys. Mike Dunn is the one that killed him today.
Well, and his closer too. I mean, you hit the first batter in the inning. Guy has 6 at bats the whole year. I know it was a pitch that got away from him, obviously, but then it was wild pitches. He got the runner second and third, and a wild pitch had brought him third to home.
That's that part of pitching multiple days in a row. Forearms tight, doesn't quite snap the way that you want it to. The fingers don't quite get through the ball.
All right, then let me ask you something, because I want to go back to something you said earlier, okay? Look, closers want to get saves. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, it's an individual sport inside of a team game, but at the end of the day, it's an individual sport, okay?
That's how you get paid.
But you brought up how Goose Gossett shared with you when you get those chances, make yourself ready, make sure you're ready. But then following up on what you just said, if that's the way a closer feels after pitching 4 games in a row or a 3rd day in a row, are you doing a disservice to your team by taking the ball? And in this case, Davis blows a save.
Well, I think it was a little uncharacteristic today that you have a day game after a night game, and now all of a sudden you're right back out there in a quick turnaround. And recovery is tough. Some guys do it better than others. I didn't think that there was any lack of velocity from Davis. Where it hurt him was with the breaking ball, the cutter. He just couldn't quite get on top of it, and that's more of a strength pitch than it is anything else.
Guy's got some kind of stuff. Back-to-back strikeouts for Iglesias.
Well, there is no doubt there is a different Raisel Iglesias on the mound when you have a lead or you've got a chance to win the ball game than when he's just having to go out there and get some work. And that's true for most closers. Because for most guys that pitch the 9th inning, they're adrenaline junkies. That heart doesn't start to beat until your team takes the lead, or you know you're in the ball game when it's really close, with a chance to win and not just protect a 1-run deficit.
0-2 on Ryan McMahon. Colorado has Brian Shaw getting loose in the bullpen, and we will see him as Iglesias fans aside. Reds will try and win it in the bottom of the 10th when we return. Bottom of the 10th inning, and the Reds tied at 5 with Colorado. And now on to pitch. Longtime Cleveland Indian, got a big contract as a free agent to come to the Rockies, is Brian Shaw. Tucker Barnhart will be the pinch hitter for Iglesias. Barnhart, Votto, Suarez due up.
Shaw pitched here in game 1, and even though the Rockies won that ball game, his outing was not too good.
Well, you know, it's funny, we talk about it all the time, is that if you go back to that game, right, the Rockies had Davis lost a game on Sunday, got knocked around really for the first time all year long. They get Monday off, they come in here Tuesday, they've got a 9-1 lead, and it's 9-3 going into the 9th inning. They've got a 6-run lead. Shaw comes in, can't get anybody out, and they are forced to bring in their closer to get the final out of the game. So now, you know, you look at the domino effect. If you're Bud Black and you're saying, well, if I don't use him Monday or Tuesday night, and he had 2 days in a row off, would that have made any difference today?
We're all slick.
One hopper will be the first out in the Reds' 10th. Votto 1 for 3 in his career. It's hard to believe he's only had 3 career at-bats against Shaw all those years with Cleveland. Parra takes over in left field. Votto had a fielder's choice for an RBI in that 2-run 8th inning. His 25th batted in this year and his first since the middle of May. Two and 0. And there's ball 4 to Votto, so he draws a 1-out walk. The winning run aboard for Suarez.
Now that was the pitch of choice for Brian Shaw when he was a Cleveland Indian. More times than not, he could throw this pitch for a strike pretty much any time. That was never a strike on a 3-1 pitch. Mentality is the same, but execution not quite there.
Strike one to Suarez. Been a quiet day for him today. 0 for 4. Does have a run batted in. Votto about a 2-step lead over there at first base. Perhaps slightly an exaggeration, but it might take a triple or more to score him with that lead over there.
Oh, the home run, we won't have to worry about.
That's right. You can just jog around. This will be a double play to end the inning. We're off to the 11th, tied at 5. Of extra innings, we played 10. 5 runs, 10 hits for Colorado, 8 left on base. The Reds 5 runs, 8 hits, 5 left. Reds tied it against the Rockies bullpen. Dunn and Davis in the 9th. After they were just dominated today by starter Tyler Anderson. Beautiful day here in downtown Cincinnati. Iglesias works a perfect 10th inning, striking out the side. And now will be Dylan Floro taking over on the mound. So he will be facing Walters. Parra, who came on as part of a double switch when Shaw entered the game. And then back to the top of the order, DJ LeMahieu. Strike one.
Got to figure out a way to pitch ahead in the count. If they're going to beat you, make them beat you the other way.
High fly ball. That'll be handled by Billy Hamilton. 1 out. There's a rocket into left center field off the bat of Parra. And he is aboard with 1 out here in the Colorado 11th.
The only problem with trying to make somebody beat you the other way is when you have a hitter like Parra who likes to go the other way. You kind of fall right into the trap. You hit that right on the barrel.
Bunted by LeMahieu. And he's thrown out. Boy, I am stunned by that. There's no way they asked him to do that. I'm just stunned that a player like LeMahieu would do it. You don't think there's any way they asked him to do it, do you?
I don't think so.
I mean, this is a guy that's hitting the last couple of years. In fact, the last 2.5 years, he has one of the top 5 batting averages in Major League Baseball. Though when you see him squared around like that, it certainly makes you think he was asked to bunt here. I am just absolutely stunned. This guy's a .320 batter the last 3.5 years.
It only looks good if it works.
I just cannot believe you're giving up a 320 batter for an out. Wow. Well, we'll find out probably later. Won't matter tomorrow. We'll never see the Rockies again. He's given credit for a sacrifice, and now it's Blackmon. And he'll roll over one to the right side, and that'll be the final out of the inning. Thank you very much. Reds will bat in the bottom of the 11th in a 5-5 game. Many of the fans are long gone. But some enjoying the sunshine in a 5-5 game as we go to the bottom half of the 11th inning. It's still Shaw on the mound. And the Reds have Winker, Casale, and Dixon due up. Winker had a big base hit that no one's going to remember. His only time up, that came in the 8th inning when he walked up there as a pinch hitter and ripped that single into right field. That was a play that Gonzalez threw out Suarez at the plate. At that point in time, it was still a 1-run lead for Colorado. But then the Reds would tie it against the closer Wade Davis in the bottom of the 9th. And here we are in the 11th. I tell you, I rarely ever care to hear what an opposing manager decides to do. That's their business in regard to strategy. But I cannot wait to read about that LeMahieu thing. That is one of the most stunning, if indeed he was asked to sacrifice, it is one of the most stunning decisions I have seen in recent memory by any manager. And Bud Black's a good manager.
I think he did it on his own.
Okay, well then somebody should ask him.
Just by the way he tried to bunt the ball down the third baseline instead of a sacrifice bunt, pushing it to the right side. I mean, he was awarded a sacrifice bunt, but I think he was trying to just bunt for a hit and surprise the Reds defense.
Knocked down by Story. Can Winker beat the throw? He will. That'll be an infield hit for Jesse Winker. He's 2 for 2 since coming off the bench.
So now what do you do if you're Jim Riggleman? Do you bunt the big fella?
You'd be bunting in front of a guy who's 0 for 4, who has 17 major league at bats.
Do you even know if Casale can bunt?
That's a good question. DJ LeMahieu the last 3 years has hit .301, .348, and .310. And with 1 out in a tie game,
I think he did it on his own.
That's what. Well, then somebody needs to ask him at length what was going through his mind. They asked Casale to bunt. Everything they've asked this young guy to do, he's done it. Nicely done. So he advances a runner with a sacrifice.
And a perfect bunt.
Yes. All right, so it's up to Brandon Dixon and Jose Peraza to try and give the Reds a win here in the bottom half of the 11th inning. Nice job by Casale. He has contributed nicely in fewer than a handful of games since coming on board. Foul ball.
You've got 2 awfully good arms in left and right field with Parra and Gonzalez. And if you're Jesse Winker, you better make sure you get a good secondary lead and a good jump.
Nothing in one on Brandon Dixon. You know, look, sink or swim, there are going to be a lot of people, you know, on the other side of the ledger. We're talking about Colorado bunting that are going to be wondering about Jim Riggleman bunting here. I mean, Brandon Dixon has 17 major league at bats. He has 4 hits. And behind him, you have Peraza, who's hitting basically in the 250s on average most of this year.
That one almost hits Dixon in the helmet, and that was a breaking ball.
And you were talking about that secondary lead for Winker. He basically didn't have one at all, and didn't even make a hard step to third when that ball popped actually in the mitt and then over the head of the catcher. And it took him a second or two to try and find it. All right, 2 balls and a strike on Brandon Dixon. 3-1. Dixon has played so well defensively in this game. He has made 3 outstanding plays in the field. And now he draws a walk. Shaw keeps throwing the most breaking balls, and Dixon doesn't chase him. Second walk issued by Brian Shaw. And now it's Jose Peraza who extended his hitting streak. He came on in the 7th inning to bat. And in the 9th inning, extended his current hitting streak to 10 in a row. Peraza waits. Strike 1. Fastball in the inside corner. I think Peraza thought that ball was too far in.
Looked like it was far in.
Yep. And a liner. That is a short hop for 1 and a throw to second. A double play will end the inning. We're off to the 12th, tied at 5. A 5-5 game, Rockies and the Redlegs. Reds trying to get out of this series with a win after losing the first 2 games. And Dylan Floro to face Arenado, Gonzalez, and Story here in the Rockies' 12th.
Well, the Rockies have 4 pitchers left out of their bullpen. The Reds only have Hernandez and Austin Bryce. So the further this game goes, the more Jim Riggleman's got to think about who he's going to pitch.
Dodgers come back to beat the Pirates today 8-7. That is a final. The Cardinals down the Marlins 4 to win 1 game in that series. And the Cubs in the bottom of the 5th, a 2-1 lead over Philadelphia. Three 3-0 on Arenado.
You think he's swinging right here?
I would.
Okay. If it's close.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Nowhere close.
It's one thing to come to the plate if you're not a home run hitter and trying to hit a home run in this situation. But you've got three guys that can come to the plate here for the Rockies that can absolutely hit the ball out of the ballpark with regularity. And they're looking for one place, one pitch, one spot.
One ball and one strike on Carlos Gonzalez. He's been on 3 times today, 2 hits and RBI, also has a walk. That's a cut where he was looking to lose one.
That should tell you a little bit of what the Rockies are thinking right now. That was a changeup in the middle of the plate, and Gonzalez came unglued thinking it was a fastball.
Right where they had him played. That ball was scalded by Gonzalez, and it turns into a 6-4-3 double play.
Another play that Brendan Dixon proves that he can turn a double play. Catches it with his back to first base, makes a turn and a strike throw and a strong throw to first base.
And a good thing. Story shoots one into right field, a 2-out single. So now a pinch hitter will come to the plate. This will be Ian Desmond. So Shaw goes 2 innings. Allows a hit, walks 2, no runs, no strikeouts.
You think Desmond's just trying to feather one into right here?
Oh, yeah. Good chance of that.
Trying to hit those folks in the riverboat. And if you're on the mound, you have to use that to your advantage. Know your situation, pitch accordingly. Both of those first 2 pitches were away from Desmond. Hardly any kind of movement at all towards the pitch. With that open stance, that tells me he's looking middle in. And probably won't get off of that until you get to the 2-strike point. Right before Floro picked to first base, Casali set on the inside corner. I wouldn't leave it on the inside corner here. Started in there, get it in off the plate as Floro did there. And he was spinning.
Line drive in his center, and Billy makes a nice sliding catch, and that will end the inning. Reds bat in the bottom of the 12th with Hamilton to lead things off. We're tied at 5. 3 runs when they came to bat in the 8th inning. They got a leadoff walk, they got a single, then another walk given up by Dunn. Votto knocked in his first run since the middle of May on a fielder's choice. And then Suarez hit a rocket that turned into a fielder's choice. It brought in another run, but with those 2 guys at the plate, you were hoping for a lot better than that. And then it came to the 9th inning. Wade Davis hit a batter. That batter wound up getting to second, went to third on a wild pitch, and scored on another wild pitch.
And here we are
in the bottom of the 12th. Billy Hamilton to lead things off.
Well, the last time Hamilton faced Russin, it was a triple. And he hit that one hard.
So Chris Russin is a new pitcher. Parr is an outstanding defender in left, always has been.
Yeah, he had to make a pretty good adjustment there. He broke back on the ball as it came off the bat. He had to come back in and then make the dive backhand style. That's never easy.
Talked about Russin. He pitched collegiately at the University of Kentucky. Graduated in May of 2009 and first team all SEC performer. We've seen him with the Cubs and we've seen him with the Rockies.
This tells you a little bit about where the Reds are bench wise. Dylan Floro is on deck.
Yeah,
and pitching wise for that matter, as far as the bullpen goes.
Yep. You know, the only guy you mentioned, 2 guys left down there, David Hernandez and Austin Bryce. Hernandez pitched an inning last night. Bryce did not. But the Reds are out of players. The Rockies still have their backup catcher, Chris Iannetta.
And the Reds are out of players, and they've used Michael Lorenzen as a pinch hitter early in the ballgame and got a hit.
That's right.
At 116 and something miles an hour into left field.
Schebler has 3 hits today, including an RBI double back in the 5th.
Done a good job in the leadoff spot today.
Yeah. Out on strikes is Schebler. There are 2 away here in the 12th.
Maybe Floro hit one out.
That would be a big news for sure.
That'd be headline news.
Floro has 2 at-bats this season, 0 for 2. 0 for 6 as a batter in his major league career. Got 4 at-bats with the Cubbies last season.
Swing hard in case you hit it.
And he puts the ball in play. Scooped up by Story, and that's the end of 12. A 5-5 game at Great American Ballpark. We're on our way to the 13th inning. I mean, she stayed with it the whole game, sitting 3 rows from the top, keeping score. Good for her. That's all the way up in the upper left field corner.
Hoping for a 0 here and then stand on your feet. Bottom of the 13th. Did I say that? Did I just say bottom of the 13th?
You did.
Just checking.
Absolutely. Now that kid's full of something, energy for sure.
Well, when McMahon has hit the ball hard, he's pulled the ball. That should work to the favor of Dylan Floro because he sinks the ball away from left-handers. But if you leave it in, you run a risk of a problem.
1 of 5 in the game is McMahon. He had a run-scoring triple down the right field line back in the 6th inning. That was a 2-run 6th inning when the Rockies went up 5-2. Reds, we did 2 in the 8th to tie it, 1 in the 9th to tie it officially.
Stay right out there, big boy. Stay right out there. You can almost see that front shoulder of McMahon just a little towards Votto at first base.
McMahon to be followed by Walters, who's caught the entire game here today, as has Casali for the Reds, and then Parra.
Well, Casali's in there for the duration because Barnhart is done.
Yep. Two and 2 on McMahon.
Reds are asking 3 innings of Dylan Floro here on this afternoon.
So after getting ahead 0-2, the count has now gone full. Floro has 1 game this year where he's pitched 3 innings. That was back on April the 20th.
Like the Reds have David Hernandez up just in case.
On swinging is McMahon. First strikeout for Dylan.
Kept that ball away. Started in the middle. Looks good to the youngster. I think I can hit this one out. Oh, no, it turned the other way.
So that will bring Walters to the plate. Walked, hit by a pitch, hit by another pitch, is lined to short and fly to center since. Strike one. Hamilton, Schebler, Suarez, Dixon, Votto, and Casali have gone the distance for the Reds. Blackman, Gonzalez, McMahon, LeMahieu, Story, Arenado, Walters for Colorado. 2 down. Excellent work so far by Dylan Floro with 1 more out to go.
I think it's got to be in the back of the mind of every hitter that comes up there right now. One swing of the bat, I can be the hero.
Certainly holds true for Parra with that swing. Ripped into right field, and since coming into the game, Parra is a perfect 2 for 2. So you think LeMahieu bunts here with 2 outs?
That's wearing you out, isn't it?
I just can't believe it. I know I said that already. I just cannot believe it.
I don't think he's bunting here.
I mean, when you're fortunate enough to be in the game as long as we have, and 30 years for you, 31 as an announcer for me, there are just certain things that you will never forget, and this was one of them today. Nobody will care in 48 hours from now. But if the guy was a 240 hitter in his career or a 220 hitter in his career, I get it. Maybe with 1 out in the inning.
I think if we see the Rockies on a regular basis and we see DJ LeMahieu put down bunts like we have with Jose Peraza, then maybe the mindset is a little bit different. He just didn't get the bunt down the third baseline where he wanted it. The Reds are definitely concerned about Parra trying to steal second base. Got a pretty big lead over there as well.
There he goes, swinging a foul ball back to the screen. And Parra not in any hurry to get back to first base.
He's going to walk all the way back to first.
No balls and 2 strikes on DJ LeMahieu. Straight up in the air, and what a job by Dylan Floro. Boy, what a job. Who wants it? Hamilton, the call and the catch. 3 shutout innings from Dylan Floro.
Nice job.
Really, really outstanding work. Here in the last of the 13th inning, it'll be Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, and Jesse Winker And it is still the left-hander Chris Russin on the mound for Colorado. He had a 1-2-3 12th inning. And he's hit with a pitch to begin the inning. That's the way it started when the Reds tied the game in the 9th. And that's when Casali was hit by Wade Davis.
Now, you asked me earlier about the bunt from Casali. I don't think Suarez is bunting here.
No.
Just for the record.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something there.
Or I would be surprised.
You're right.
Let me just say that.
That's right. A very, very quiet day for Suarez, and those have been few and far between this year. He is 0 for 5 and has only hit one ball out of the infield. That's when he had that fielder's choice to drive in a run in the 2-run 8th inning.
He's coming up large here.
One out.
Maybe not.
Reds have had one hit here in extra innings. That was an infield hit. And the Rockies have had a hit in each of the last 3 innings. Winker owns that only hit in extra innings. Again, that is about a 1.5 step lead at first base by Votto, if that. There is no chance on this earth that on a double he has any chance of scoring. None. Now, that's not his forte. That's not his game. We get it. But take a look at this lead.
Well, I think when he had the extra step lead earlier and Anderson picked over there.
Yeah.
And he got a little off balance. That might have put a little hesitation in his aggressiveness.
High fly ball, right center field. Did Winker get enough? Bye-bye, game over.
Off of a left-hander for a guy that is not known for hitting home runs. But he's 3 for 3 coming off the bench.
A game-winning home run by Jesse Winker, just his 2nd home run of this season. And in 13, the Reds down the Rockies by a final count of 7-5. How about that? So the Reds win the final game of this series. Seven, 5, and 13. And we will go downstairs. Standing by with the hero is our very own Jeff Piccoro whenever somebody gets finished talking to him down there. Pick.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Yeah, Jesse Winker here. And boy, what an extra innings affair that you had there, Jesse. As he gets hugs from everyone, hitting Coach Don Long, the bullpen. This is a long, hot day and nice ending for you, my friend.
Yeah, it's a very hot day for sure.
Of course, you know you're going to get dumped.
Here we go.
You don't hide behind me. You're really going to hide behind me?
It actually feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Today. You know, it's kind of hot, so I'm glad I got hit.
So you didn't get to start today, but you come in extra innings, and you were the only one to produce any hits in the extra innings, too. Their bullpen is really strong, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a really good club. It was fun just to get out there. You know, when your name gets called upon, just try to put together some good ABs and hit the ball hard.
At the start of the game, Tyler is really pitching well for them, and you guys are really having trouble. But once you got in the bullpen, which has been very good for them, you're able to get some runs on the board, tie it up, and then win it there at the end. And that was a bomb.
Yeah, it was. We just kept battling. It was very fun. You know, anytime you can tie the game off a guy like Wade Davis, it just shows something about your team. And we're very resilient, and we're looking forward to the weekend.
How cool is that to get a walk-off home run?
It's probably the coolest feeling in the world, to be honest with you. I mean, it's awesome. Very, very cool.
Well, congratulations on a big win. I know this meant a lot to you guys because you had struggled. You really good offensively, but just to get a win against these guys really feels nice, doesn't it?
For sure. Like I said, they're a really good team. It's a reason why they're battling for their division. And anytime you can win a game, especially at home, a close game, a hard-fought game, it's great.
Congratulations on a big win.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Jesse Winker, boy, nicely done by him in extra innings with that 2-run home run to win it. So stay with us. When we come back, it's Reds Live. Brian Giesenslaw will bring you all the highlights coming up right after this.